Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gulls Field at Pagano Park. We would like to respectfully acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered this afternoon is Treaty 6 territory, home to the Métis Nation of Alberta, Region 3. These lands are traditional meeting grounds, gathering places and travel routes for many nations, including the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Métis, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux. We're grateful for the traditional knowledge keepers and elders who are still with us today in this area, and those who have come before us. We acknowledge and thank all the many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. In collaboration with the Western Canadian Baseball League, the Sylvan Lake Gulls are very proud to welcome all of you to Gulls Field at Pagano Park in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. Welcome to this afternoon's ball game on July 24th between the visiting Okotoks Dawgs and your Sylvan Lake Gulls. We will officially introduce you to the starting lineups of both the visitors and the home team right away. But here at Gulls Field, we always like to start by introducing you to a very special guest. And hanging out with that special guest on the mound right now is today's game day host. Please say hello to Delaney. Hi, Delaney.
Hey, thanks, Joe. I'm down here with Carlin Thornton. He's 9 years old, and he's our crucial diesel Little Leaguer of the night.
So great to have you at the ball game today, and welcome with all your family and friends. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'll ask you to please rise if you're able, remove your hats, and join us for the Mobile One Lube Express anthems to start today's ball game. And to sing them for you is our regular anthemist on the pitcher's mound. Please welcome Nikhail Vanderbliss.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Another gorgeous day here in Sylvan Lake, Alberta. The Sylvan Lake Gulls and the Okotoks Dawgs. It's only fitting that it's a beautiful day here today because the two hottest teams in the league are going to battle it out yet again. The Dawgs have had Sylvan Lake's numbers so far this season, but obviously for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, you're looking to change that. Jim Claggett, myself, Cale Clark, glad to have you tuning in. And Jim, it is going to be a big test here for the Sylvan Lake Gulls.
It always is when Okotoks comes to town. The Gulls with the one win earlier this season, 6-3 here at home, and they like to, I guess, look at it in such a manner that, okay, we're right there as far as catching them for first place, but this is more kind of a benefit for upstairs. And what I mean by upstairs is a self-conscious thing. They want to just say, we can beat you guys. Yeah,
and Okotoks has been kind of slipping as of late, if you can even call it slipping, but they're 6-4 in their last 10, and that's unlike them being the top team in the league. They beat Edmonton 16-7 back on July 22nd, but the Sylvan Lake Gulls, they've been playing quite well as of late too, because they played Moose Jaw here on Thursday and Friday night. Both games came right down to the wire, but it was Sylvan Lake that cashed in both W's.
You know, and once again, Noah Hull, for the second time this year, walks it off for the Gulls in the bottom of the ninth inning after Moose Jaw tied it up in the top of the ninth inning. So more drama, and the fans cannot say they have not been entertained by this baseball team. So we'll see what they write today as a script.
And we'll see what All-Stars come out of today's game, too. Coming off the All-Star game last night, we'll see who is the All-Star in today's game. Between the Dawgs and the Gulls, we'll hand it over to Joe Whitbread with the starting lineups for today.
Chase Rodriguez, the designated hitter, batting third from the University of Utah. Number 5, Jackson Clement, the first baseman, batting fourth from the University of Marion, North Dakota. Number 35, Noah Hull, the center fielder, batting fifth from Crowder College in Missouri. Number 33, Caden Zeroni. In right field, batting sixth from Gonzaga in Washington. Number 17, Sam Stem, the third baseman, batting seventh from Cal State Bakersfield. Number 8, Matthew Curata, the starting catcher in the 8th spot from the University of San Francisco. Number 31, Zach Griffin. And rounding out the Gulls' batting order at second base, last night's WCBL All-Star MVP from UTEC, Utah, number 2, Ethan He. The starting pitcher for your Sylvan Lake Gulls, warming up now on the hill from Shorter University in Georgia, number 11, Tyler McWillie. The home plate umpire this afternoon is Jeff Chipley.
Well, we
at
have
first base, Don
the
Busquets.
potential for a very large crowd here on this beautiful Sunday afternoon at Gulls Field at Pagano Park. Tyler McWillie on the mound here for your Sylvan Lake Gulls as they take on the first place Okotoks Dawgs. And as usual, leading things off for the Dawgs is their shortstop and all-star, Brendan Luther. He'll be followed by, I got the wrong lineup in front of me. I've got the Gulls lineup in front of me.
That might help a little bit.
Ricardo Sanchez is batting second, and center fielder Micah McDowell will be the third batter to face Tyler McWillie here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. And he fouls that first pitch out of play.
And Brendan Luther, one of the former players for the Edmonton Prospects, one of the guys that I'll tell you right now, Jordan Blundell was sad to see go and leave the Prospects for this Okotoks Dawgs team. He was his guy, and he's a heck of a leadoff hitter for any team he plays on.
100%. And he shoots this into the gap for a base hit out to right field to start things off for the Dawgs. That'll bring up the second baseman, Ricardo Sanchez. And I'm just looking at the lineup here for the Okotoks Dawgs, and three of their guys I recognize as far as all-stars: Noah Geeky, Brendan Luther, and the DH McCoy Pierce. But they had four others on the roster down in Okotoks last night. A 9-8 win by the West. The man who won it for them out at second base for your Sylvan Lake Gulls, Ethan He, with a walk-off single, a base hit. They brought in an extra out. They brought in the outfielder and put him in the infield. So they had 6 infielders, or 5 infielders, I should say, and trying to stop the base hit. And cut off the run at home, but he found the gap and hit it out into the outfield, and that was the end of the game. And he was the MVP of the All-Star game. Look at that, huh?
That's pretty remarkable.
2-0 the count right now to Ricardo Sanchez. Brendan Luther's taken off, and they've got him. No, they don't. Oh, they did. I did not think that the throw got there in time, because he was taken off, and Tyler McWillie, I'm not sure if anybody alerted him, because he was still doing his pre-pitch warm-up prep kind of thing. So a good play there by McWillie, getting the ball over to second base in time to get the base runner, Brendan Luther. And that leaves Ricardo Sanchez standing at the plate with nobody on base. And McWillie comes inside with that and misses the count now 3-0. Micah McDowell, the batter, on deck.
And a good test for the umpires in this game too, Jim. At home plate, Jeff Chipley, and over at first base is Don Buskus, and Clayton Wandler is over at third. So they had to be sharp on the first call with the steal over to second, the pickoff.
Mm-hmm. And at first I thought maybe they didn't get him, but I guess the throw got there in time, and the play was made. And this is out to left field. Chase Rodriguez hard to his right, and it takes a big hop over his head. And Sanchez will get himself a stand-up double as the ball comes in. That took a big bounce over the head of Chase Rodriguez. So the first two batters facing Tyler McWillie have got base hits. That'll bring up the center fielder, Micah McDowell.
Yeah, and this Okotoks Dawgs team, they just know how to bat really well in this league. McDowell also with a .390 batting average so far this season, 18 RBIs, and he's had 30 hits on the year. So it doesn't get any easier by any means for Tyler McWillie, and I'm sure the Gulls know that by now, that this is a team that they got to be on their A game defensively.
100%. You cannot take an inning off against this team, because they will put runs up against you any way possible. And I think Micah McDowell was one of the All-Stars also for the Dawgs. Just to make a mention of that.
Yep.
McWillie misses inside, count even at 1-1. Top of the first inning, one down here. Ricardo Sanchez, the base runner, over at second after a double. Brendan Luther had led things off with a single, but got picked off over at second base. And this is grounded down to Matthew Carrata. He barehands it and over to first, and not in time. Not in time. Noah Hall making his start over at first base. So McDowell beats that out for an infield hit. If Carrata maybe had fielded it cleanly, he might have been able to get the ball over there just that half step sooner, but he did not. The defense behind Tyler McWillie, Chase Rodriguez over in left field, Caden Zeroni in center, and Sam Stem is the right fielder. Matthew Carrata at third, Mike Polson at short, Ethan He at second, Noah Hull is your first baseman, and Zach Griffin the catcher. And this is the designated hitter, McCoy Pierce, another one of the All-Stars, and was probably one of the favorites to win the home run contest, but it was a young man from Weyburn who knocked out 9 in this first round. So that was pretty good. I wish I could have seen that. That would have been interesting.
Yeah, Nolan Macabroda was the hitter that hit 9 home runs over the fence. And it was Caden Zeroni for the Sylvan Lake Gulls that was representing Sylvan Lake in that home run derby. Unfortunately, he didn't get any over the fence, but came close a few times from what I heard.
Oh, okay. And I know the man on the mound for the Gulls today, Tyler McWillie, he said, yeah, I said, you probably should have been down there for the home run contest. Like, get a guy from each team that's, the home run hitter. This is lifted down the third baseline, but it goes foul. He said, yeah. He said, I enjoyed my day off. So, he played some golf. He went to a movie, which I found out. Yeah, well, maybe I'll keep that to myself. He enjoyed his golf game. Let's put it this way. If he ever wants to reveal his thoughts about the movie they saw, him and his girlfriend last night, then I'll let him explain that to you. So I'll keep you in the dark right now. And that pitch is low. 1-2 the count on McCoy Pierce. Runners over at first and second. That's McDowell at first and Ricardo Sanchez at second. One down here in the top of the first inning. And if there's one thing the Gulls do not want to do is get behind this Okotoks team. Although they did last time, down 3-0 in the first inning, and came back and won that game 6-3. So maybe that's the recipe, the formula for success against Okotoks is give them a lead and we got them right where we want them. Well, that's hit hard into right field or left field. Chase Rodriguez lays out for that one and makes a fantastic catch. This young man can do it with his bat, and he can do it with his legs and his glove as he tracked that down. That was a hard hit ball up to left field by McCoy Pierce.
Yeah, and that was not an easy grab by any means for Chase Rodriguez. He had to stretch out for that. But I almost wonder if he stretched out a little too much, because he caught that still almost towards his chest. It almost looked like it could have went off his face a little bit too, but he got his glove in front of it and hauled it down. So it was awesome to see that he kept control of that after coming down.
It's funny when that ball was hit, the people in the booth to our right here in one of the suites, as soon as it was hit, they went, uh-oh. But Chase Rodriguez had an answer for the uh-oh, and that was to get over there and make that catch.
We've seen a few of those big grabs from Rodriguez out in left field.
He's got another one coming his way, too. And he makes another outstanding catch. Wow. So you know, keep hitting him, I'll keep diving, says Chase Rodriguez. As, you know, he's just a busy young man out there. One bounce over his head, and now he's figured, well, I'm not going to let him bounce then, okay? So he gets congratulations from his teammates with two outstanding grabs to end the inning. No runs on 2 hits, 2 men left on base, and after the top of the first inning, we are scoreless with the Gulls coming to bat.
Let's introduce you to the starting lineup for this afternoon's visitors, the Okotoks Dawgs. Batting first, playing shortstop, number 16, Brandon Luther. The second baseman, batting second, number 8, Ricardo Sanchez. In center field, batting third, number 20, Micah McDowell. The designated hitter, the fourth spot, number 13, McCoy Pierce. The right fielders, number 2, Alejandro Casorla. Left field, number 39, Noah Kiki. Starting catcher for the Dawgs in the 7th spot is number 9, Caleb Lombard. The first baseman, number 10, Connor Person. And the third baseman, rounding up batting order for the Dawgs, number 41, Alex Scott. The starting pitcher for the visitors this afternoon on the board wearing red, that's number 21, David Cates. Highland Central Alberta welcome to the visitors, the Okotoks Dawgs.
Bottom of the first inning here at Gulls Field at Pagatle Park. Jim Claggett, Cale Clark here with your home team live broadcast. Mike Polson will step in to face number 37, the starting pitcher, David Cates. Left-hander. Watching him in the warm-up, throws quite hard. That should be a good test for the Gulls, and Mike Polson will step in to face David Case. And he reached the first pitch with a base hit right up the middle. Polson seems to have a knack for doing that on that first pitch. If he likes it, he's swinging.
Yeah, no time wasted at all for Michael Polson. And you know what? That's almost a good way to go about it, because then you just kind of, you don't show any nerves. You just get things going in a good rhythm right off the get-go. You don't waste any time. You drive one up the middle, and next thing you know, it just picks up from there. And I think Chase Rodriguez, the next at bat, he always follows Polson. It probably gives him a little bit of a jump too before the game. When you see the first hit go right up the middle, and then you come to bat with a guy on first, I think it makes it feel a little bit better about stepping into the batter's box.
Of course, Friday night, Mike Polson did exactly that, and Chase Rodriguez followed it up with a 2-run homer over the right field fence.
Yeah, that was
Let's see what happens
else.
now.
Yeah, absolutely.
The man who made 2 outstanding grabs out in left field sends a ball out into shallow left field, and
Oh, wow.
the left fielder for the Okotoks Dawgs, Noah Geekie, says, okay, I see your 2 grabs. I will go in with 1 right now. So the left fielders trade outstanding catches here.
And Rodriguez, he's got a smile on his face because he knows, it's basically karma coming back at him, I guess, for those 2 big grabs in left field. And now he gives Geekie a chance to make a big one on him and returns the favor, I guess.
And one of the things these 2 left fielders have, I guess I don't know if it's an advantage, but at least it's a little easier for a left fielder going to his right. Both of these are left-handed, so their glove is on their right hand. A little harder to make that backhand grab if you're
Big time.
a right-handed left fielder. Get all those directions. Left-handed right, right-handed left. Hit to left, hit to right.
North, south, west, east.
Yeah. Anyway, this is your designated hitter, Jackson Clement. He grounds this down to first base, and not sure what was going on there.
Jeff Chipley's, I think, saying it hit the ground
Okay,
in
foul.
foul territory. So I think that, and if you're Jackson Clement, that's a sigh of relief, because it looked like they were going to have an easy double play in the works, but they get to redo it. 2-1 the count to Clement.
The Gremlins have been at my lineup. I had Jack Shark in there, and I looked at position instead of number.
Gotcha.
And looked at number instead of position. Jack Shark is number 5, position-wise, but he's number 14 in the lineup. Jackson Clement is number 5 in the lineup, but position-wise, he's the designated hitter. So we've got that all cleared up for you, I hope.
It's easy to confuse.
3-1 the count, I know that.
Yeah.
And I throw over to first to keep Mike Polson a little closer, as he is known to steal a base or 2. I believe he's got about 18 on the season right now. Last time I checked. Noah Hull, the man who walked things off on Friday night here at Gulls Field on Hawaiian night, is on deck.
19 now for Polson on
There
the
we
stolen
go.
base count, because the 1 stolen base, I believe, back on Friday night.
I knew you would get the answer for me.
Yeah, you betcha.
I just had to throw it out there. So Noah Hull's going to step in now. If you watch Noah Hull when he gets into the batter's box, or just close to the batter's box, now he's writing a little something in the ground.
Yep.
I asked him, I said, what are you doing there? He said, writing my brother's initials. He died of cancer in 2012.
Wow.
And so he keeps that as a memory, and he does that every time he steps in the batter's box.
That's awesome.
I think that's just a great thing to do for somebody. And he knocks this off the screen. And he said when he walked up on Friday night, he told the guys in the 7th inning, he said, I'm going to walk this off. In the 7th inning, he said
Yeah, that was, he told me after the game that he was excited when it came up to him to step up to the plate. And when he said when the crowd went loud, he said, oh yeah, he took it in and he was ready. He just knew what he's going to do.
And this is a high foul ball. Is it going to stay in play? It does stay in play and drops safely. As Alex Stuffed and Caleb Lombard were closing in on it, but nobody could get a glove on it. So That will land, and the count remains 0-2. And the way Noah walked up to home plate, he was like a wrestler coming into the ring.
It was, yeah.
Kind of like, yeah, drink it in. I got this, folks.
It was a big introduction, dramatic at its finest, and honestly too, he lived up to the hype. I mean, he did what he said he was going to do, and he just drilled a single to, I think it was at right or left,
right up the middle,
right up the middle, yeah.
Yeah, it was a well-placed single right out the reach of the shortstop.
I'm thinking of Ethan Hees that went to the right in the All-Star game yesterday for his walk-off single.
Okay.
So Noah Hall, yeah, he did go up the middle.
So he checks his swing on that one. They check down with the third base umpire, Clayton Wandler, who's standing closer to second base because we have base runners on first and second. Mike Polson over at second. Jackson Clement is the runner over at first. One down here in the bottom of the first inning. Gulls and Dawgs scoreless here at Gulls Field. And home plate umpire Jeff Chipley calls time. It might have been Noah Hull that actually asked for time and got it.
Yep.
One and two the count on the Gulls first baseman this afternoon. And he rips that hard down the first baseline. This young man, when he puts the bat on the ball, it's got some zip.
Yeah, he's got a lot of power behind that swing, and if it makes any contact, especially with a pitcher throwing an 85-mile-per-hour pitch down the middle, yeah, goodbye if he makes good contact on it.
He sends this down the third baseline foul. That'll send everybody back to their bases. 92-mile-an-hour fastball there from David Case.
So as we take a look at the standings, Jim, in the West Division, obviously Okotoks the top team in the league, but top team in that division. Sylvan Lake right behind them at 31-14. Okotoks 34-12. So Sylvan Lake inching their way closer to catching the Dawgs in the standings.
And a strikeout there for David Case as Hull takes a good swing at that one, but does not make contact. So two down here in the bottom of the first inning. We are scoreless. Gulls with runners on first and second. That'll bring up the center fielder, Caden Zeroni, another one of the All-Stars. I was asking around if any of the Gulls pitchers got any action in the All-Star game, and Akil Samuel with the Gulls said, I hope not. Okay, I understand what he's saying. Like,
yeah.
No, don't use our arms.
I guess, yeah.
Use everybody else's arms. Use Okotoks' arms. Use all their pitchers.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe Sargent, the pitching and or the batting, the pitching coach, I think, for the Okotoks Dawgs, and he was telling me that he if we were going to look at an All-Star game next year, he kind of wants to have a different style of weekend, maybe not have a game the next day after an All-Star game, just have a little bit of a different format, because and that makes sense because you take a look at last night. It was a busy night in Okotoks at Siemens Stadium. They had a full crowd, but then the Okotoks Dawgs, they got to, those that were in the game and all the All-Stars that were in the game have to get ready for a game today on a Sunday afternoon and travel. So
short turnaround. Yeah. Zeroni sends this just over the roof over our heads. You had your hand up there ready to grab it?
I was ready.
Yeah,
I was hoping it just dropped a little bit more and then it could have came right at the window.
You could have. Just don't take the camera with you. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all Calvin Bellows would be. Yeah, sorry about Kale, but he took my camera with me.
Yeah, just grab my feet when I go forward.
I'll do my best.
All right.
I'll do my best. My reaction time is a little slower right now. So 1-2 the count on Caden Zeroni. And he fouls that off to stay alive. Sam Stem, the right fielder, is the batter on deck. 6,000 people showed up at the All-Star game in Okotoks last night.
Wow. That's crazy.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And if you think baseball and the WCBL is not exciting and people don't support it, you need to go to a game down there or a game right here at Gulls Field, because the fans here get their money's worth from this team, the drama that they display on
absolutely.
so many games now. It's hard on my ticker, I'm telling you.
And I'm going to tell you right now, too, that wasn't the season ticket holders at Siemens Stadium. They had to pay extra to go to, they had to pay a ticket to go to that All-Star game.
That's grounded over to second base. Ricardo Sanchez is up with it and over to first to get Zeroni and end the inning. No runs on one hit. 2 men left on base. So after one complete, we are scoreless, headed to the top of the second.
Morgan is at the ballpark today to have a great time. We'd like to introduce you to your new host this afternoon, Dave. How are you? Very welcome. And just a reminder that we are expecting a potential record crowd at the ballpark this afternoon once everyone gets parked in here. Thank you so much for making this part of your weekend plans. There is a QR code on the seat back in front of you or near you, and there are some near the bar and a standing room areas as well. Those QR codes are there to keep the congestion and the lineups down. If you'd like to grab something from our concession today, food or non-alcoholic beverage, you can use a QR code to pre-order it. We'll text you when it's ready, and then it's really easy to pick it up. Of course, there's big tubs and alcoholic beverages available too. Please drink responsibly and enjoy your day at Gulls Field at Gulls Park.
We are here in the top of the second inning with the Gulls and Dawgs tied at zeros right now. Tyler McWillie on the mound for your Sylvan Lake Gulls. He's facing the left fielder Noah Geekie, followed by the catcher Caleb Lombard and the first baseman Connor Croson. And he starts Geekie off with a strike on the inside part of the plate. Geekie making a nice grab out in left field. Although Chase Rodriguez is leading the outstanding left field grabs in this game 2-1. Off-speed pitch there from Tyler McWillie. Misses, and the count even now at 1-1. The fans are still coming in the door here. So.
Yeah, might see record-breaking attendance here today at Sylvan Lake.
I think you might be right. And then the parking is an absolute, well, it's jammed because we have the provincial softball, the girls' provincial softball championships going on over in the diamonds just on the outside of the outfield fence here at Gulls Field. So
Yeah.
lots of stuff going on.
But Gattle Park is a happening place today.
Absolutely it is.
And I'm sure the spray park might be busy too.
And Noah Geekie sends this deep down the left field line, and that is going to leave the ballpark for a solo shot by the left fielder for the Okotoks Dawgs and an all-star, and you can see why. The man's got a bat, and he knows how to use it, so he gets the Dawgs on board first with a solo shot off of Tyler McWillie. Noah Geekie, who also takes to the mound every so often for these Okotoks Dawgs, so this kid's got some skill set.
Yeah, he sure does.
This is the catcher, Caleb Lombard. So I got to ask you, on Hawaiian night, Friday night,
Yep.
when we walked out of the door here out of our broadcast booth, they had brought us up some pulled pork sandwiches that they made here, and there's pineapple on them. Did you eat yours?
I did eat mine. I had to.
Oh, did you pick off the pineapple?
No.
Okay.
I actually had to pick off the bun because the bun, by the time it got home, was so soggy. It was melted into the meat and the pineapple. So I ended up putting it on a new bun. I heated it up in the microwave, put it on a new bun, and it was delicious. Yeah.
It was certainly delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to the staff here that treat us so well. This is grounded down to Noah Hull. He takes it himself. He'll step on the bag. And that's the first out, and this will bring up Connor Croson. I know myself, I heated it up on Saturday after I got home from golf. I heated up and I looked at it and went, that's going to be sloppy. Knife and fork, and I started just, okay. It still tasted so good.
Yeah, mine kind of got squished in my laptop bag, so it was a good thing we wrapped it in that plastic bag before we took it, because it was not looking too good when I got home, but I made it work.
And that was the idea, wrapping it up in that plastic, as Croson steps in, was the wife of our camera guy, Warren Rudd. That was Angie Rudd's. It was her idea. Here,
Good
put it in this
recommendation.
plastic here.
Yeah.
And, okay. See, you know, that's why we need women in our lives.
We
to
sure
keep
do.
us from doing just, minor dumb things and major dumb things.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything in between. And Tyler McWillie with a nice off-speed pitch there to go up 0-2 on the Dawgs first baseman. But it was tasty.
Mm-hmm.
It was nothing like a good pulled pork sandwich. And there was all sorts of things in there, too. I think there were some onions in there. And it looked like some either green peppers or jalapenos. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was well deserved in a way that for Hawaiian night. It was a perfect thing for Hawaiian night.
Absolutely. Perfect finish to our night for sure. It was a nice bedtime snack. And
Mahalo to the staff here.
Absolutely.
We're all part of the Ohani. The family.
Yeah, the family. Yeah.
I
don't know that much Hawaiian.
I still got Hawaiian on my head.
I definitely do not have that much Hawaiian.
Well, those are the basics.
Yeah.
The one we forgot was the
Hang loose.
shaka.
Shaka. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, don't get that confused with hook'em horns in Texas. It's the other way. Shaka. This is out to deep center field, but Caden Zeroni moves off to his right, and it's the catch for the second out. And I know a friend of mine who was born on the island of Oahu, he says, when you go to, used to go to a party or something at somebody's house, everybody takes their shoes off at the door. They leave their shoes there. Right. So he says, you walk out, you can trade up. I said, now is that a tradition or is that just you guys? He says, that's just us being kids. We would just trade up and take somebody else's sandals.
Oh, there you go.
But they all had good quality sandals, which is something you need down in Hawaii because that pavement gets a little warm in the summertime.
Yeah, you need to have that little cushion and that little extra pricey fabric on your flip-flops.
That's right. And that catches the outside corner. 1-1 to count on the third baseman, Alex Stuffed. This is the first time we've seen this young man in the Dawgs uniform, at least in the lineup. He may have been in the uniform. He's just never gone to the games. He fouls this back against the screen. The count 1-2 now. Tyler McWillie. 2 out here in the top of the second inning. Dawgs with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a solo home run off the bat of left fielder Noah Geekie. So he makes an outstanding grab in the field, then comes to bat and hits a home run.
And that was actually Noah Geekie's first home run of the year, too. So
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. His timing was perfect if you're a Dawgs fan. If you're a Gulls fan, you probably think he could have maybe done it on somewhere else.
Yeah. Any other building? Any other place? Stadium?
McWillie misses with that ball outside. The count now full with 2 down here in the top of the second.
Well, this is McWillie's 8th start on the year for the mound for the Sun Lake Gulls. 40 strikeouts so far. He's 1-1. His record.
And this is fouled out of play onto the berm, or onto the dugout, I should say. A little one bouncer there, and young man with his glove, he managed to snag it. He's got himself a ball there. He's got his signed Sylvan Lake Gulls hat there and all the autographs on it. Now he's got himself a ball.
There you go. He's having a good old time. And
Yeah.
He's probably going to get that ball signed after today's game.
I bet you. And these boys are so good at signing autographs, they will patiently wait for him to get to the line and sign it for him. So. And that misses on the outside corner. So Alex Stuff will draw a 2-out walk here and bring the top of the order in Brendan Luther to the plate. Luther got a single to lead things off here in the first inning and then got caught going to second base. Not a throw from the catcher. It was the throw from the pitcher as he got about halfway there and somebody finally said, hey, guy stealing. Heads up, throw to second, and Tyler McWillie did. And Luther grounds that foul on the first pitch he sees.
And Tyler McWillie, he's one of those competitive players. I mean, they're all competitive, but he's that guy that with this start today, this is where he would really, really love a W for his team. He's going to be a guy that's I'm sure coming into today's game and going to want nothing more than to give his team a chance. And he's done a pretty good job so far on the mound. Not too bad.
He's just the 1 run on 3 hits right now.
Yeah.
It is early. But you're right, he had his game face on when I saw him in the hallway. And he fires that past Brendan Luther. He's up 0-2 now with 2 down. The runner over at first, Alex Stuffed. And I'm sorry, Alex, but every time I say your name, all I can think of is stuffed pizza down in Coachella Valley. I'm easily influenced.
Apparently, yeah.
1-2 the count on Brendan Luther.
Food does sound good right about now.
I can order a nice pineapple pepperoni
Oh,
mushroom
boy.
pizza for you.
Nope. I'll pass on anything. I'll have anything but that.
Okay.
Or I'd just pick off the pineapples.
You probably would. Yeah. That misses inside and high for ball 2. Not getting the count or the calls from home plate umpire Jeff Chipley. 91-mile-an-hour fastball missed inside and high. Alex Stuffed the base runner over at first. Brendan Luther is the man at the plate for the Dawgs as they lead 1-0 here. That misses inside as well. So McWillie he steps on the mound, off the mound. He gives the home plate umpire a little look like, I thought that one was a little closer, but not close enough still. So the count full on the leadoff batter. 1-0 Dawgs lead it. We are early in this game. And he sends this out to left field. Chase Rodriguez kind of watched it for a moment and then got his bearings and made the move on it to record the out. So after 1.5 innings ago, the Dawgs, no run or 1 run on just the 1 base hit. They left 1 man on base. We head to the bottom of the second. Dawgs leading Sylvan Lake 1-0.
Running the bases with the Gulls after every home game, brought to you by Pure Orthodontics. Let's go, give away some prizes. Here's your game day host, Delaney.
I'm down here with Sally and Lauren, and we got some prizes to give away, so let's hear it.
More on the game
Bottom of 2 here at Gulls Field at Pagano Park. Dawgs with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of a solo home run by left fielder Noah Geekie. This will bring up the right fielder for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, Sam Stem. Matthew Carrata is on deck, and the catcher, Zach Griffin, will follow. And Stem sends this first pitch out into the gap in left center. And just like that, the Gulls with their leadoff batter on base.
Yeah, and another, leadoff hit where it's first pitch thrown, first swing, and you drive it down the middle. Get on base, no problem. So we'll see if the inning continues to go the right way for the Sylvan Lake Gulls with Matthew Carrata at the plate.
Maybe that's the book on David Case, is he throws first pitch strikes. So if it's there,
swing it.
Give it a rip.
Yeah. And I know what some batters too, they like to watch that first pitch go by, to even regardless if they know it's a strike or not, just to kind of get an eye on what's coming down the line for you, to get your eyes set and ready. But it can be an easy strike for a pitcher if they know that's what the batter's going to do every time.
Throw down to first there by Caleb Lombard, but Sam Stem gets back easily. 1-1 the count on Carrata. Now I know these guys don't have the analytics at their fingertips like the Major League Baseball teams do, but I'm sure they talk, and they see these guys often enough to say, okay, I know what his repertoire kind of is.
Yeah.
They usually aren't going to surprise you with a pitch that you haven't seen from these guys. But it's recognizing that pitch is probably the key, the trick to the whole system.
And we start to see the bunt game too coming back for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. We saw them use that bunt game to their advantage on Friday night and even maybe Thursday night a little bit. And so Matthew Carrata squaring up for the bunt 2 times in a row now. 3 and up in the count, 3-1.
And I know the Dawgs bench to a man all thought that he offered at that pitch like he was going to bunt it, and got called a ball. So they weren't happy with home plate umpire Jeff Chipley either. Full count now on Carrata. Nobody down here in the bottom of the second inning. Sam Stem, the base runner, over at first. Carrata stays alive by fouling that off. Yeah, I'm talking to Jason Chatwood after the game on Friday, and I'm talking about how many times you guys have been not only bunting for base hits, but bunting to move batters, bunting to score runs. He said, yeah, we saw how in Carrata with a base hit out to right field, Alejandro Casorla bobbles it a little bit, but another one of the All-Stars, by the way.
Yeah.
Alejandro Casorla. So that moves Stem over to second base, and Matthew Carrata at first. He said he saw Okotoks, how well they use the bunt to their advantage. He said, we got to start doing that. That's a weapon. And so they did, and they're using it very well, as you mentioned. This will bring up the catcher, Zach Griffin, with 2 men on. The Gulls trailing 1-0 here in the bottom of the second inning, but they've got something going here with nobody out and 2 men on. And he squares the bunt. And a throw down to second base to try and get Stem, who may have been off a little further than he wanted, but he got back easily in time.
Yeah, and it's good to see Zach Griffin in the batter's box. Who we originally thought took that ball off the hand back on Friday night was actually Ben Prediger.
Yeah.
And Ben Prediger just made his, way back into the lineup, and then he took that fastball right off the hand that took the glove off. So that was something that was not good.
No, he's had a tough go with a couple of injuries so far. But this is a young man that's made the most of his chances, because he was to be signed just to a 10-game contract with the Gulls. And then 2 catchers that were supposed to be coming up here got injured. And so Coach Chatwood reached out. And actually it was former Gulls coach Tyrus Barkley, who is an assistant coach at University of Mary down in Bismarck, that knows, that's where Prediger goes and plays, and knows of him and said, hey, call this guy. He'll probably do it.
Yeah.
And he said, sure, I'll come and do it. And then the two guys got hurt and never made it up here to play for Sylvan, but Ben Prediger did, and he's been one of their better players throughout the season. And Coach Chadwood also likes how he handles the pitchers. He has really good communication skills with these guys, and he knows how to work the game. But so does Zach Griffin.
Yes.
You know, and all these guys, you have the benefit of having guys like Stephen Hospital and Ty Boudreau and Hunter Jones and Josh Tucker throwing the ball hard at them. Ryan Cross, like all the starters, these guys handle them, and it's great to see.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too that it's tough to, it's been a tough year for catchers, obviously, because of all the injuries and things like that. And Sylvan Lake has luckily been having enough pieces to back that up to come in any game and still do a tremendous job behind the plate.
Yeah, they still have like Matthew Corrado over at first base. He's playing third tonight,
too.
And he's another catcher that they have on their roster. So good job for these boys.
Yep. And a lot of these guys too, they're pretty good at being able to play in more than one position. So that's also handy, having a hybrid like that to step anywhere you can when you need them.
And this is going to drop down into shallow right field in front of Cazorla. And now the bases are loaded with 3 straight singles by the Sylvan Lake Gulls. So they figured something out with David Case. And they're going to have a little meeting on the mound here to say, oh, you know what? You know that pitch you're throwing? Don't throw that anymore. They seem to be laying and waiting for it. And let's just do something different now.
And I bet they're also saying to themselves right now, this guy at the plate right now, it's about to hit. He's the guy that won the All-Star game last night. He was the MVP. So you might want to not throw anything easy at him. Because Ethan he's not shy of hitting it, and he's not shy of driving runs in either. As Ethan, he's got so far 16 RBIs on the year for him. And it's contributed to.
Bases loaded. Sam Stem has got pretty good wheels down at third base.
Sure does, yeah.
Do they try and bunt him in?
And that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good question actually, because 0 outs, I would not be surprised.
No, he's not bunting. Taken all the way, and watches that pitch by Case come in for a strike. Bottom of the second inning, Gulls trailing Okotoks 1-0. A home run by left fielder Noah Geeky, the difference in the game right now. But with the bases loaded, Gulls are threatening to tie it or go ahead.
Well, and even a fly out too would be just fine for Sam Stem to get home in any of the fields, preferably center or right.
I think the mindset of Ethan is just get the bat on the ball and get it out of the infield.
Yeah.
Make an outfielder make a play.
Or be patient and let him keep throwing balls your way.
That's the other option.
Another option right there too.
Those are the guys with the good eyesight that can do that.
Oh, and
the patience.
If it was me though, and bases are loaded, like
You're
the
swinging.
Patience. Oh yeah, I have no patience.
You're coming out of your shoes trying to hit the grand slam.
You just wanna, you wanna get it out of here.
And he fouls that out of play. That's well out of play. That's well into the parking lot.
Yep.
Young man still wearing his Hawaiian shirt. Is firing himself over there. He says, I got this. Good wheels on him, and he got the ball. 2-2 the count on Ethan He. Riverton, Utah goes to UTEC.
And I think another record crowd in attendance here tonight. I mean, I wouldn't say it'd be record, but it's probably pushing the record, I would think, for this Sunday afternoon.
Do we know the number for the record?
I want to say Akil Samuel, talking to him before the game, he thought 1685 was what they recorded, but he said, or sorry, was it? Yeah, 1685. But he believes that it could have been easily over 17 because he said they lost track. He said like we just lost track. It was just chaos that day, that night. He said. So
that was opening night, right?
That was opening night. So he thinks it could have. They only could report what they accurately counted, but he feels like it could have been a little bit more even.
Well, David Case up to the challenge here as he goes full count on Ethan He and then comes back with the strikeout for the first out of the inning. That'll bring the top of the order up. Michael Polson, who first pitch saw a strike, hit it right back where it came from, and that's how the game started. But now a visit here from the coach as to how they want to play this. Do they bring the infield in, cut the runoff at home plate? Do they send everybody back, play regular depth, and look for the double play?
Joe Sargent there talking with his catcher and pitcher, and no action in the bullpen just yet for either team.
No.
It's pretty early, but with bases loaded, you got to be thinking of the Okotoks Dawgs. Do we warm anybody up in case this gets out of hand?
You know, and that's one of the things that this Dawgs team, I think they do very well, is they don't let things get out of hand.
No.
They seem to have a pretty good mindset when it comes out to protecting a lead and doing things what they need to do when they need to do them. So after the coach leaves, now the players want to have a conference. There we go. So they're all kind of making sure everybody knows who's got what as far as bases and where you're throwing to when you get it and what the game plan is. So there's a lot of moving parts in baseball. It might not seem like it to some people, but there certainly is.
Yeah.
A few things that you got to do, and you got to understand the reasons why you're doing them.
And they got Alex Stuft pinching in and Connor Croson pinching in, both on the third base and first base. Meanwhile, shortstop Brennan Luther and Sanchez at second backed off a little bit. So they're probably anticipating a Michael Polson, drive up the middle like he has. And if they're backed off enough, maybe they can catch one of those balls if he doesn't get under it as much.
Right now, Polson is up 2-0. First two pitches from Case missing for balls. Yeah, they're not holding anybody on.
No. Except for maybe first, but even then doesn't look very threatening.
No, well, he's playing behind him. So
yeah. It's hiding.
Don't throw over to first because your first baseman's not there. And Polson taking all the way on that one. Thinking that was a ball, but it's called a strike on the outside corner. 2-1 now, and Chase Rodriguez is the batter on deck. The Gulls would dearly love to cash in at least one here with the bases loaded against this Okotoks team. When they present you with opportunities, you need to take advantage of them.
Yeah, that's where you got to take advantage, absolutely.
And that misses outside. 3-1 now, the count on Polson.
Now this is a tricky pitch and a tricky thing to do as a batter. Do you have the patience? You got to make sure it's in the strike zone, but also if it's if it's close, do you swing at it or do you just take your chances and hope that walk in or run?
Well, that's an RBI for Mike Polson as he draws the walk, the 3-1 walk. That will bring in Sam Stem from third base. So now Carrata's over at third, Griffin over at second, Mike Polson is the base runner at first, and Chase Rodriguez, the left fielder, will step in. Lefty against lefty.
And now they're going to send over a pitcher to the bullpen for the Okotoks Dawgs in Logan Rumberg. Number 31 is heading over there shortly, so we'll keep our eye on that as this inning goes along.
That first pitch from Case. Rodriguez takes for a strike.
Here's a guy that if you're the Southern Light Gulls, he can get things going for you at bat.
Watches those two pitches catch the outside corner. 0-2 the count on Rodriguez. Lots of room down the third base line, but he doesn't hit opposite field too much. He's more of that right field, right center from what we've seen so far. And Case takes a lot off of that one to get the strikeout for the second out of the inning and his third strikeout of the game. That'll bring up the designated hitter, another lefty, Jackson Clement.
And the guy on deck in Noah Hall, I mean, he's probably just hoping that Clement gets something out there and gets on base, because we know Noah Hall likes these situations with the bases loaded and runners runners out there.
Yeah, put a runner on, I'll hit.
Yeah, he loves those situations. So if you can beat the Sylvan Lake Gulls right now, keep this inning alive, that would be working well in your favor with the guy at the next on deck there.
We are all tied up here in the bottom of the second inning. And Jackson Clement gets all tied up with that pitch. 0-2 the count now, with 2 down here in the bottom of the second. Bases loaded for the Gulls, looking to add to what they've already scored, which is just the 1 run right now. But they want to add to that, because this is a team where anytime you get a chance to get runs, get them, because they don't give up a whole lot. Case up to 51 pitches here in the bottom of the second inning. So the Gulls are making him work. And he's stepped up after loading the bases, striking out 2 Gulls here to get them within 1 out of closing out the inning. That is way outside.
Yeah, that was easy to watch go by, I'm sure, if you're Jackson Clement.
Well, Caleb Lombard was like about 3 feet outside of home plate when he set up. And I know the batters aren't supposed to look back, but you couldn't help but not see that the catcher was so far outside from behind home plate that that's where he wanted it. And that one hits the ground. Now the count 2-2. So you wait him out, or you? I mean, you have the left-handed pitcher. He's getting that left-handed pitch count or strike call on the outside of the plate.
Yep.
And he comes inside with that pitch on Jackson Clement. So he strikes out the side to end the threat, a bases loaded threat. But the Gulls do get the 1 run to tie things up. We head to the top of the 3rd inning, all tied at 1. Dawgs coming to bat. Top of the 3rd inning here at Gulls Field at Pagato Park. Jim Claggett, Cale Clark on Home Team Live. And the Dawgs coming to bat. This is Ricardo Sanchez, the second baseman, to lead things off. Micah McDowell, the center fielder, and McCoy Pierce, the designated hitter, are the scheduled batters. Tyler McWillie on the mound for your Sylvan Lake Gulls. He's given up just the 1 run, a solo home run by Noah Geekie. One of 3 hits that the Dawgs have on the afternoon. And he starts Sanchez off with a fastball for strike 1. An off-speed pitch misses, low, and ball 1.
The way McWillie, throws the ball, it's almost like it's slow motion, but yet the ball comes out quick. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's a change-up throw, but then next thing you know, that very last little transition, flick of the wrist, and the ball's coming at you pretty quick.
And he keeps working that outside corner on the right-handed batters. He's just not getting that call. I'm not sure by how much he's missing, but he's not giving up on it. And there's the off speed. Evening the count at 2-2 on Sanchez, who hit a double. It hopped over the head of left fielder Chase Rodriguez. This has popped out of play. Nope. Zach Griffin gets to the fence and makes the catch. And the crowd explodes on that one. They like a good play, and that's exactly what they got right there. That'll bring up the center fielder Micah McDowell, who had a single back in the first inning. One of the 3 hits that the Dawgs have on the afternoon. The big one being the solo home run by Noah Geekie to let off the second inning. And the curve comes in for strike 1 on Micah McDowell. As somebody pointed out, Tyler McWillie is kind of our Gulls Shohei Ohtani, where he pitches and he plays a position as well.
Yeah, a man of all trades.
He hasn't played a lot of first base lately, though. He's been the designated hitter for quite a few games, but first baseman Jaden Lamont has been taking a lot of reps at first base. Noah Hull has been doing the same thing. Who else do they throw over there? Chase Rodriguez will sometimes go over to first base. So I think Tyler's probably happy with swinging a bat and throwing pitches. He misses with that one. 1-2 the count on McDowell. 1 down here in the top of the 3rd inning. Dawgs and Gulls all tied at 1. And that misses well outside for ball 2. And that's fouled out of play. Count remains at 2-2.
So I did I counted back, and the Okotoks Dogs so far this year are 7-1 over the Sylvan Lake Gulls. So that just kind of goes to show just Sylvan Lake, this is a big game for, as you were mentioning the pregame show, in their heads to get it out. And I think so far they're doing a really good job at maintaining, composure and staying with it as McWillie strikes McDowell out.
First strikeout of the game for the left-hander, or the right-hander, I should say, and the first backwards K to go up on the board there.
Yep.
That'll bring up the designated hitter, McCoy Pierce. And he quickly sends that out into right field for a base hit. He's going to go to second. Oh, no. A mistake there, I think, by Sam Stem.
Yeah.
Of not getting it in hard and fast away, because McCoy Pierce didn't even hesitate. He rounded first base and just took off for second. So it's a good piece of base running by Pierce, but maybe a little bit of a slow reaction to the play by Sam Stem. And Mike Polson comes up limping on that tag and the slide by Pierce into second base. So Rob Mank is going to have to make the jog out to shortstop and check on number 10. I always wondered the conversation going on. No, I'm good. Just spikes. Just spike marks. I'll play through that.
Yeah, it seems to be hunched over. He'll be okay by the looks of it. He's saying, no, it's all good. Even I think McCoy Pierce probably apologized. Was that me? Was that on me that did that? Polson, just by reading what it's looking like his lips, I think, no, it's all good.
Yeah. So 2 down here and a runner on second. That'll bring up the right fielder, Alejandro Cazorla. And McWillie greets him with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike.
Well, I'll tell you this, that the outfielder is going to be a little bit more on alert when the ball's flying to them. And you can't take it thinking it's just going to be a single. Okotoks they'll take advantage of any mistakes you make out there for sure.
Yeah, that was, like you said, that was some good base running.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I say, Sam Stem just kind of.
It was easy. The body language that he gave to, to Noah Geeky, to McCoy Pierce, he kind of could tell that Sam Stem was just going to take my time, grab the ball, and throw it in softly. So that's why I think he decided to turn first and head for second, because he just could tell from the body language before the ball even got to Sam Stem, he wasn't getting on it very quickly.
No, and Ethan He was out on the grass there in right field to take the relay throw, but by the time it got to him, Pierce was close. This is hit deep to right field. Sam Stem, with those long arms of his, reaches up and atones for maybe the mental error that he had out there in right field, not getting the ball in fast enough, but that'll make up for it more than enough. So no runs on just the one base hit. They leave one man on base. We head to the bottom of the third. Gulls and Dawgs tied at 1.
Lots of special guests at the ball game with a special welcome to some celebrating anniversaries, birthdays, and a big welcome to many more who came from afar. Just out of curiosity, unofficial poll from upstairs, how many of you would say you're from out of town? Make some noise. Wow, very good. Now listen to this. How many of you would say you're from Sylvan Lake, Alberta? Make some
Well, here we
noise.
go. A nice crowd on hand here on a Sunday afternoon at Gulls Field at Pagattle Park. The clouds sneakily moving in on us here.
Yeah.
Just looking, I don't know that it has any rain in it, but we shall see. But the crowd all dressed for perfect summer weather, sitting at a ballpark out by a lake or near a lake. Come on.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to complain about the clouds, because otherwise I think it'd be just crazy hot. And
And
this
a gull just flying across the camera here.
yeah, not a big deal. Just hanging
checking
out.
things out.
Checking things out.
Yeah. He says, I know there's fries around here. I can smell them.
Where's the food?
Noah Hull steps in to face David Case and takes that first pitch for a strike. I love it when seagulls fly over top here. It's just so poetic. And Noah Hull, who struck out against David Case back in the first inning, is quickly down 0-2 now, as we are tied here in the bottom of the third inning. Kind of what we expected from the top two teams in the WCBL.
Yep, absolutely. And you know, Noah Hall, he's a guy that's been obviously coming alive as of late with the bat and everything like that in between. But 11 RBIs on the year with the one homer that he did the walk-off with, and already has 17 hits
Oh, and a called third strike there on Noah Hull. So he sits down, leading things off here in the third inning. That will bring center fielder Caden Zeroni up to the plate.
And you called it, Jim. The Okotoks Dogs, from that last inning, bases loaded, they know how to close out an inning no matter what kind of trouble they get themselves into. And this pitcher in David Case is a good example of that, because they were warming somebody up for a little bit in the bullpen, but he kind of proved himself to be able to making a case for himself to stay on the mound.
I see what you did.
Thank you.
First pitch strike there to Caden Zeroni, who grounded out to second to end the first inning. And takes that pitch for 0-2 now the count. I have a feeling, this is just my own opinion and a guess, that the teams that come into town here, they enjoy coming to play at this ballpark. They like the atmosphere. They like the ballpark itself. And I was watching in between innings, we had a little contest up on the scoreboard there where the hidden ball, which used to be called 3-card Monty back in the old days. And so they used cards. Well, they used batting helmets, and they put a ball underneath, and then the contestant has to guess. Well, the Dawgs players were guessing too.
Yeah.
And a hard hit ball down to third base, but Alex Stuff had his glove on it, and it went over it hit his glove and then came off. So we give Mr. Zeroni a base hit on that one. At least I'm not the official scorer, so I'm going to give him a single, because that was a hard hit.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I mean, it could have probably been a routine grab too if you were the third baseman and stuffed. But it's tough to say, because I mean that was a hard hit ball, like you said. But I think he could have easily had that. Just took his eye off it 1 second too early or too late.
Looks like the official scorer did give an error to the Dawgs, though, on that. So I will erase the base hit from Mr. Zeroni and give the E5 into the box score here. Now, either way, he's on base over at first, and he's got a good lead there. And so David Case says, I'm going to just maybe keep you a little closer. First baseman Connor Croson's having a little discussion with the umpire, saying, "Look,
Yeah.
he was off. I could see daylight in there." No, he was not off. First baseman, they always try and sell you everything, right? And Sam Stem gives that a good shot. Well, foul, but hard hit out of play here.
The crowd here all went, whoa, as soon as he hit that. Just exploded off his bat. And we've seen that from Sam Stem many times before.
Yeah.
Doesn't take long for it to get out.
And that misses high and inside. The count 2-1. You notice when he comes to bat, they play Casey and the Sunshine Band, Shake Your Booty.
Yeah, I love it.
As you mentioned, that he does that little wiggle.
There's the wiggle, yeah.
And steps into the plate.
I should chat with him after the game, see what he thinks of the song choice. If he even notices.
He may not. Swing and a miss there. 2-2 the count now. One down, one man on. That's Caden Zeroni over at first. We are in the bottom of the third inning. Tied at 1 between number 1 Okotoks, number 2 Sylvan Lake in the WCBL. Both teams in the West Division. Stem keeps that alive. Fouls it back against the screen.
And I'm sure that makes for a very interesting match or playoff matchup, because you got 2 really good teams. I mean, even 3 good teams in the West, but it just makes it quite interesting for when playoffs come around on who's going to be the better team coming out of that bracket.
Yeah, throw over there to first once again by Case. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Maybe not. It's just the way it'll set up, but it would be nice to see these 2 teams in different divisions, and then you've got that collision at the top in the final series. But Moose Jaw acquitted themselves pretty well here against the Gulls with 2 very different games. 14 runs in the first game, losing 9-5, and then 5 runs in the second game, Moose Jaw losing 3-2. But they've got some ball players that can hit the ball. They've got some good pitching. So they'll be a force to be reckoned with no matter who they face over in the east side and if they come over in the final in the west. So nice pitch there by David Case. Catches Sam Stem, and he will sit down.
Well, and it also kind of almost surprises you a little bit to have, you know, the East teams and the West teams, you know, meet in the finals, because that's a long way to travel in such a short period of time, too. I mean, you almost would think they'd testify towards kind of the CFL, what the CFL does, where, you know, if the third or fourth place West team is doing better than the top 2 or 3 team in the East, you'd have the carryover. Or the crossover, I should say.
Right, yeah, the crossover. Well, I guess maybe they're looking at where the teams are aligned. I mean, all the Saskatchewan teams are, well, who would have the farthest drive? Probably Swift Current? Well, Medicine Hat, I guess, coming from Alberta. They would have the farthest drive.
Yeah. But
they're down in the standings right now, so, because, you know, you got Regina, Swift Current, Moose Jaw, Weyburn.
Yep.
So all those guys are within a couple hour drive of each other.
For sure.
So maybe that's, whereas here in Alberta, a swing and a miss there by Matthew Carrata. 1-2 the count now on the Gulls' third baseman. You know, if you get Fort McMurray and Okotoks playing in the final, those are the two kind of furthest ends of the province as far as these teams go. So
for sure, yeah.
That would be a lot of air miles. Oh, they thought they had him. David Case was walking off the mound thinking he had got Caden Zeroni picked off over at first. But Zeroni did get back in time.
And I mean, and when you do look at the standings, they are pretty evenly matched as far as East and West is concerned. I mean, the third place teams are pretty close to the same records. Fourth place teams pretty close to the same records. So, you know, I guess it only makes sense to keep it the way it is because it's working.
Of course, the West will say they've got the advantage because they won the All-Star game.
Yeah, they might say that. But it was a close All-Star game.
9-8.
Back and forth action last night in Siemens Stadium.
1-2 the count on Matthew Carrata. Caden Zeroni, the base runner there with 2 out. And Carrata, good at bat for the young man from Cerritos, California. Shout out to his family who were here earlier in the season. Met Dad Eddie. If he was here, I'd get Eddie up here to do our little commentary as well and join us. But next time he's down, I'm going to grab him and pull him up here.
Heads up, Eddie, if you're watching.
Good catch there by Ben Prediger with that sore hand. He grabbed it with his left hand, so
all right.
I guess he's ready to go. Maybe. You just hurt that hand, and now you're grabbing a foul ball with your bare hand. I don't know. He's a catcher. And Carrata sends this out to the middle for a base hit. Zeroni had thoughts of heading for third base, but a good job, a very good at bat for Matthew Carrata to keep things going there for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And that will bring up the catcher, Zach Griffin, who had to take off all his gear because he was ready to go out behind the plate again. So he has to take everything off and load back up with just his at-bat gear. Griffin with a base hit his last time at a single shot. Just out to right field. There's another Gull flying through the air, coming to check out the French fries.
Yeah, they're
good.
Circling around, that's for sure.
What, the fries or the Gulls?
All of them.
The Gulls and
all the above.
The fries are circling around. There's another one.
No,
out
the
right
Gulls.
field.
The Gulls are circling around
Okay.
The fries and the fans and the ball.
Well, usually Gulls are looking for garbage, right? They're not going to find much garbage here in the form of baseball because this is really good baseball. We say this all the time and we'll keep repeating it. If you have not attended, I mean, maybe you've watched, and thank you very much for doing that, but there's nothing like being here at the ballpark and experiencing all that goes on from the top of the first inning to the bottom of the ninth inning.
Yeah, we have a great in-game crew too to kind of keep you entertained between the innings and things like that.
Another Gull flying low now. Going to throw down to first. Corrada back safely. The Seagulls are getting a little brave.
They are.
Here comes another one.
Yeah, they're getting low.
There must be a convention or something in town.
There's Akil Samuel probably letting out a flock of Gulls again.
I'll tell you, last year on their home opener, the very first game here, at the end of the game, a whole flock of seagulls flew over.
Yeah.
And they weren't singing, what's their song? Iran? Flock of seagulls?
Well, it was after, and I think it was after their first win too, that these seagulls just all of a sudden came out of nowhere and flew in like almost a formation of line. Like they were trained to go over. It was something else.
Yeah. And Griffin lifts this out to right field, and Alejandro Cazorla gets his glove on it to end the inning, but the Gulls once again, no runs on one base hit. They left two men on base this time. We head to the top of the fourth inning, tied at 1. Top of the fourth inning here at Gulls Field at Pagattle Park. We are all tied up at 1 apiece here with the Dawgs coming to bat. This is the man who's got the only run for the Okotoks Dawgs. Noah Geekie back in the top of the first inning. He led things off with a solo shot over the left field fence. The Gulls, of course, tying it up in the bottom half of the second inning, and that's where we sit here in the top of the fourth. Tyler McWillie still on the mound, and a first pitch strike to the left fielder Noah Geekie.
And I bet Tyler McWillie will not be throwing that same pitch to him again.
Kind of likes what he's throwing right now. 0-2 the count on Geekie.
Yep.
And a 3-pitch strikeout for Tyler McWillie, as he is all business on the mound this afternoon here at Gulls Field. This will be the catcher Caleb Lombard, who grounded out to first base in his at bat in the second inning.
Second strikeout for McWillie on the evening too, with the one catching a batter looking. That time the batter was swinging, so we got one backwards K and one normal K up on that fence, thanks to our guy Josh Fawcett.
Yeah, the other night, and that's hit well foul and out of play, and a young man walking with his son out in the parking lot, and his son just got a free baseball.
There you go.
He's going, oh, thank you. Oh, just walking along, and oh, there's a ball. Okay, I got this. And a bunch of kids are running out there looking for the ball, and they have no idea that it's already been picked up. And another strike there. 0-2, the count on the catcher, Caleb Lombard. I was talking to Josh Fawcett over there, our K-man over behind first base. And remember in the first 7 where they had the Hawaiian Lays because it was Hawaiian night.
Yep.
On the K's, the Lays on the K's. I said, but you only you stopped at 7. He goes, I know. He said, I had a whole bunch of them. There's another strikeout for Tyler McWillie. He said, I had a whole bunch of them. And then all my friends wanted them. So he ran out of Lays for the K's.
Oh,
so
okay.
he doesn't have to worry about it tonight. He just has to put them up now.
Yeah. And reach over a couple fans at the fence.
Yeah.
In a spot.
You're my K zone.
You're my K zone, exactly.
But for sure, you can tell. Well, you're going to be on camera at some point, so smile. This brings up the first baseman Connor Croson. He flew out to center field in the second inning. And McWillie misses. He wanted that pitch.
Yeah, he thought he had him. He's got the bag in his back pocket too to get some grip on the ball.
That's grounded over to Mike Polson over at short. And a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Just kind of, well, that'll help them. That's what they needed. Tyler McWillie has settled into a routine here. He gets congratulations from Zach Griffin. And the Dawgs, man, they're 3-up, 3-down. No runs on no hits, nobody left on base. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Still tied at 1 with the Gulls coming to bat.
We're trying to sell the 50/50 tickets today, supported by Vesta Energy for our Gulls Gift Foundation. Look for the beautiful ladies in the aprons, our volunteers. Right now we are at around $2,400. So let's get some jackpot grab. So if you need a 50/50 ticket, look for our volunteers in the aprons. They're going around, they're up and down the road.
Bottom of the 4th inning here at Gulls Field at Pagano Park. And Mr. Clark, we see what the bullpen is doing at Okotoks here.
Yeah, we sure do. All the relievers are just sitting there on the bench watching the game, watching the bats, and also watching any warm-ups going on over there as well. So just keeping the bench where it was from Moose Jaw moving it there originally.
Yeah, they put it up there. It's kind of like the pro benches, you know, where they're all just kind of sitting there watching.
Yep.
At least they can watch their guys warm up and keep an eye on the game as well. Mike Polson will lead things, or Ethan He, I should say, will lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. He struck out in the 2nd. But I still think it's at this point in time, Moose Jaw has the blue ribbon as far as the most relaxed bullpen.
Yeah.
Although I saw the other night in the Blue Jays game, before they started, the guys were throwing around the football again. So that's got to be a thing with baseball teams now, throwing football around.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's not quite the same motion. So. And Ethan He lifts this out into right field. And Alejandro Cazorla gets his glove on it. And that is one down, and that will bring up the shortstop, Mike Polson, who has a single and a base on balls, and a little run-in with the base runner over at second base, make it a tag, but he doesn't seem to be any worse for wear right now.
Well, and just kind of speaking of the Toronto Blue Jays, they continue to have the Boston Red Sox number as of late. They win 8-4 today over the Red Sox. Not as big of a win as they did the other night with the 28. Was it
30-8?
Or was it 30 to
30?
5?
No, 30 to 5.
Or something
was
like
it
that.
28?
It was, yeah, it was. I don't know. I can't remember.
It was a record for them.
It was a record. Yeah, it was huge.
It was 28, I think. So 28, that's 36, and then they won 5. So that's 41 runs in 3 games.
Yeah, 28.
Boston's pitching coach. Maybe he doesn't show up at the ballpark the next day thinking, I don't even want to see what these guys are going to bring this time around.
Yeah, because they won 4-1 yesterday, and then they won 8-4 today. So.
Yeah, and it was 28 because they had 29 base hits.
Yeah.
And you're right, 28 runs. So what an explosion. And there's games going on here in the Western Canadian Baseball League on a Sunday afternoon as we have a little meeting at the mound there between Caleb Lombard and David Case.
Yeah, Lethbridge Bulls, they're facing Brooks today down in Brooks, the Bombers. That game will be getting started here in just a half an hour or so. And then the late game on the Sunday night, Weyburn Beavers in Swift Current taking on the 57s.
Okay, thank you so much for that. We are tied at 1 here at Gulls Field between the Dawgs and the Gulls. And Mike Polson, 2-1 the count on the shortstop. He's 1 for 1 on the night, or the afternoon. It's easy to say night because that's pretty much all the games we do are mostly at night. We got the 1 Sunday afternoon games. Although we did have a Sunday evening game that one time.
We did?
We?
Yeah, it was like last week, I think.
So. And Polson shoots this out into left field for a base hit. His second of the game. Making an early run for the Snap Fitness Player of the Game.
Yeah, he's always one of those guys that seems to be in the talks for the Snap Fitness Player of the Game. Just because, he's one of those guys that's just always so consistent for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And, he's always having some kind of impact in a game.
And this brings up Chase Rodriguez. I had a discussion with Noah Hull after Friday night's game.
Okay, yeah.
About the Player of the Game honors because he walked it off for the Gulls at a single, bases loaded single to win the game. And he goes, okay. He says, Ryan Cross, Player of the Game. He says, what, do I have to go 3 for 3 on walk-offs before I get a Player of the Game? I said, you had Player of the Game with the walk-off the other night when you hit the home run, man. Just, He goes, I know, you're just kidding. He's got such a good sense of humor. I just fell right into it. I got defensive right away. Come on, man. Yes, you walked the game off, but you wouldn't have had the chance if your pitcher. And he goes, I know. You don't have to explain.
That's funny.
So I had to plead my case a little bit.
Not an easy job being the picker for the Snap Fitness Player of the Game, I suppose.
Well, you help.
I help. Yeah, I do.
It's not just solely on me. Chase Rodriguez watches that pitch go by for a strike.
But if all complaints are coming, I just direct them to Jim Claggett.
That's okay. That's fine. I could take it. One day when you're not looking, I'll slip pineapple onto your pizza.
No, I believe it.
No, I wouldn't do that. And Chase Rodriguez strikes out for the second time in this game as David Case seems to have his number. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Jackson Clement.
Now batting the designated hitter.
We've got a walk and a strikeout.
Jackson Clement.
7 strikeouts on the afternoon for David Case. 3 for Tyler McWillie. And only 10 base hits and 2 runs.
Yeah, and it's honestly, too, the pitch count, too, for Case is quite high. He's already at 91 on the day so far.
Yeah, only in the 4th inning.
Only in the 4th inning, so, yeah.
I think we should probably see some action in between innings here. And there's a good shot of the crowd once again enjoying a beautiful Sunday afternoon. You could be one of those people. Get yourself a ticket. Come out and watch the Sylvan Lake Gulls do what they do against the rest of the teams of the WCBL.
And it's one of those days too. It's not hot, it's not sunny, but it's warm. It's comfortable to be out and take in a ball game.
I wonder what the mosquito count is out there right now. I hope it's not bad. As Clement stays alive with the count 0-2 with 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th inning, tied at 1. Nobody warming up in the Dawgs bullpen, but at 93 pitches, I'm not sure how far they're going to let David Case go. And a throw over to first, and that is going to get away from Connor Croson. And Mike Polson still showing the effects of that business over at second base where he got injured. Not exactly a smooth run down to second base.
Yeah.
Well, he's laughing about it, though.
He's laughing about it, but you can definitely tell that he's running with a little bit of pain.
So that throw over, that's the second error of the game for the Okotoks Dawgs. And he misses high for ball 1.
And he's a guy that likes to have a conversation with the other team too. He's one when he comes to the catcher, he'll pat the catcher on the shin pads with his bat. He'll just give him a tap. He's talking to second baseman right now, and Sanchez, or Luther, I guess, is over there right now. He's talking shortstop, not the second baseman.
He's again another Gulls player with a lot of personality. Him and Ben Prediger.
Yep.
Caden Zeroni. So many of these guys there, and other guys are just a little more reserved, a little quieter, and that's fine too. That's who you are. But when it comes out onto the baseball diamond, they're all business.
Yep.
But they still have fun.
Okay. In the day, you got to have fun and play. Enjoy the game that you're playing, because I don't think these guys would be here today if they didn't.
So we do have some action over there in the Gulls bullpen, or the Dawgs bullpen. But no need for that, as another strikeout, the 8th on the afternoon for David Case. So no runs on 1 base hit. The Gulls leave 1 man on base. We head to the top of 5. Tyler McWillie will face that Dawgs lineup as we come back.
On top you'll find Sully and your game day host Delaney in our version of the Gulls Hawaiian jersey. The boys on the field were wearing that jersey on Friday night, and we have a limited number available at the Gulls gear store. Delaney's wearing one right now, which means with Sully, Delaney's got prizes to give away too, right Delaney?
Neutral, you're right. I got some prizes. So, Gulls fans, it's time to tag up with our team. So if everyone could look under their seats, you might have a sticker that says "By Sully." If that's the case, you win a hoodie. If you just come find me in my Hawaiian jersey for Sully, and we'll hook you up. Where are our winners?
If you find one, make some noise so we can see you. There's one.
There's one. 2 more chances to win that.
If you find a tag, congratulations, you've tagged up with the Silver Lake Gulls. Go find Delaney and Sully on top of the Gulls dugout with your tag and claim your Silver Lake Gulls hoodie.
Top of the 5th inning here at Gulls Field at Pagattle Park. There is Sully the Gully, and I have to defend his honor because I was looking for results from the WCBL All-Star game last night in Okotoks, and I couldn't find anything. And then I found an article written by the local paper, the reporter in the local paper, and they had a picture of one of the events that they had was the mascot race.
Okay.
And the Okotoks dog mascot was blowing everybody away, and in the distance you could see Sully way back. And I'm going. So I asked Sully. I said, "What was going on? You couldn't get your wings flapping fast enough?" He goes, "It wasn't me. It was my cousin, who looks like me."
Oh.
I said, "Okay, so it was not you, Sully. It was the cousin to Sully that was racing down in Okotoks, and I guess he's not nearly as fast as Sully is." So Sully got his reputation sullied, but we've cleared it up now.
There we go. Yeah.
There we go. 0-2 the count here on Alex Stuft. And Tyler McWillie looking for his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. Misses with that pitch outside. 1-2 the count. Brendan Luther, the leadoff batter, is on deck. Tied at 1 here in the top of the 5th inning. And there's that outside pitch that he has been looking for all afternoon. And I don't believe he's gotten that call yet.
No, and I think rightfully so. It's not seeming to cross the strike zone from where we are standing, but we have seen a pitch like that with some umpires have called that a strike in the past.
That's true. Nope, framed in there nicely by Zach Griffin, but he didn't fool home plate umpire Jeff Chipley, because that was out of the strike zone. Now full count after being up 0-2. Stuffed has battled back, and he hits that one, a slow roller down to short, and Mike Polson with a overthrow there hits the bench, the dugout, the fence in front of the Dawgs dugout, but Stuffed will stay over there at first base.
And that's not very common for Michael Polson to make a throw that far off the target. And you almost wonder, is this injury that he's kind of limping around on, is that bothering any follow through? And he's really upset at himself right now. But luckily that didn't, it only allowed Stuff to get to first safely. He didn't go for second or anything like that. So it could have been much worse.
It could have been. Brendan Luther will step in to face Tyler McWillie, who I'm sure is also disappointed that he had a batter at 0-2 and then brought it all the way back to a full count, and then the base hit. Well, I can't say it's a base hit. It's got to be an error on the shortstop for that errant throw. 3 errors on the day for the Gulls, 2 for the Dawgs. We are tied at 1 in the top of the 5th inning between Okotoks and Sylvan Lake.
Jim might come. No, they're saying they're not arguing.
And a nice pitch there by Tyler McWillie. So he ties up Brendan Luther. The count even at 1-1 now. We have to get our guesses in for the crowd.
I was just going to say we should probably figure out what we think the crowd attendance is tonight. So, do you want to do that right now? Should we throw our guess, Jim? What do you think?
Let's wait after this batter. I gotta study this one scientifically. There we go. And a lob over to first base. Not sure what the purpose of that is, other than to just give Tyler McWillie a little chance to reset.
So the record for attendance is 1675, Jim.
Okay, 1675.
Thanks to our guy down in the truck, Rob Catcher.
And Luther lifts this out into center field. He's going to have to tag. Seft is going to have to tag, get back to first base, and he does safely with that fly ball out to Caden Zeroni for the first out. So I'm going to look around. You go ahead, say your guess.
Oh, that's a tough one. It's a real good crowd here tonight. Kids are in the kid zone. Beer garden's taken up. I'm going to have to say 1680.
1680. Wow, you're going for the record?
Yeah.
You think it's a record crowd? Okay. A record crowd, says Mr. Clark. And a ball outside to start off Ricardo Sanchez here in the top of the 5th. Okay, I'm going to go with 1647. I think they did crack the 1600 mark here. And that catches the inside corner for a strike. Base runner over at first, Alex Stuffed. He led things off, reaching first base on an error to shortstop Mike Polson. Gulls with 6 hits on the afternoon, 4 hits on the day for the Okotoks Dawgs. And lots of action over in the Gulls bullpen now, or at least for some of them. Others are just sitting around like they do in a bullpen, which might explain the front half of that name, Bull.
Yeah. Classic.
2-1 the count here on Sanchez. He sends this out of play. He's going to wake up the guy lying on the ground.
I was just going to say, that guy better be careful. It might be coming closer to him than he thinks.
At least somebody give him the heads up.
Yeah.
He just kind of looked over. Oh, it's nowhere near me. Okay, we're good. 2-2 the count now on Ricardo Sanchez, who doubled back in the first inning, and then he popped up to the catcher, Zach Griffin, who made a great play up against the screen here in the top of the 3rd inning.
Now, Ricardo Sanchez had that double back in the first inning as well. Sanchez 351 on the bats so far this year, averaging out with scoring, well, contributing, I should say, 30 RBIs, and he's got 54 hits this season.
That is lifted down the left field line, but foul by Ricardo Sanchez. He's hanging in there against Tyler McWillie, full count. Base runner over at first.
Ben Prediger taking a late jog down the left field line on the warning track there to pick up that foul ball, all in his catcher equipment.
And he picked it up with his left hand.
Picked up with his left hand.
So he's using his left hand as much as he possibly can. And Tyler McWillie lets out a big grunt as he lets that ball go, and Ricardo Sanchez fouls it off. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Pitch number 82 on the afternoon for McWillie. So we'll see what happens in the Gulls bullpen, but right now everybody's just kind of casually watching the game.
Yep. Both pitchers are making a case for themselves.
And that is ripped out to Chase Rodriguez, but he takes a few steps back and fires it in to keep Alex Stuff back over at first base. So 2 down here in the top of the 5th inning. This will bring up the center fielder, Micah McDowell.
Single so far back in the first inning, strikeout in the 3rd inning. And, you know, good. I mean, it's good to see some of the players that were playing in last night's All-Star game playing here again today, but you also got to think that it's not easy on them because they've been just go, go, go ever since. And meanwhile, most of the other players have had a nice little break from last night.
That's true. That's true. They kind of relaxed. But at the same time, this coming from a much older person, they're 18 to 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
They probably could play baseball every day all summer long.
Exactly. And Michael McDowell actually was the guy that was in behind Caden Zeroni in the batting order last night.
Okay.
Played center field just to the left or the right, I guess, of Caden Zeroni, as Zeroni was in the right field.
Yeah, he was in right field, yeah. Well, 2 down here, 1-1 the count on McDowell. Tyler McWillie on the mound, his mom, I believe, is in the crowd tonight or this afternoon. I believe his brother went back home to Plunkett.
Yeah.
1-2 the count on McDowell.
McWillies are taking turns coming and seeing Tyler, I guess.
Yeah, the brothers went and played golf at Spirit Creek Golf Course, just to the northwest of the city.
Right on.
And then Jaden Lamont was playing golf yesterday at Balmoral, where I play. And McWillie was quite noisy on the mound. He's kind of like what's a couple of tennis players that let out a lot of grunts when they hit the ball. He lets out a nice grunt when he fires that fastball. which is count now 2-2 with 2 down. We are tied at 1 in the top of 5. And now the count full. This is the second time he's gone full on a batter in this inning. The last was Alex Stuft, who led things off and hit one down to shortstop Mike Polson, who uncharacteristically made a bad throw over to first base, and that's where Alex Stuft remains for this whole inning so far, and that's where they'd like to leave him.
Yep.
He's taken off, and that's right back the middle through the legs of Tyler McWillie, and that goes through everybody out to center field, and Caden Zeroni will get the ball in. So a base hit there. A good at bat for Micah McDowell as they move a base runner over into scoring position, bringing up their designated hitter McCoy Pierce, who is very dangerous with the bat. We know that.
And honestly, up until that point, the Silver Lake Gulls were doing a terrific job of keeping stuff over to first and, you know, keeping the hits to a minimum. But that one was just very tough for McWillie to get a hold of, as it went right through his legs. And now that'll lead Matt Heap over to the mound to have a discussion with the crew.
Looks like, well, Jared Arnold is throwing against the fence, just kind of keeping himself loose. I'm not sure if he's the pitcher that they're thinking of bringing in, but I think that's Jared Arnold.
Yep,
That's
39.
Yeah. Look at that, I got it right.
Good guess. Good
What's it a
memory.
guess?
Good memory.
It was an uneducated guess. I get.
So it was a guess.
Okay, let's go with that. I could see his number.
Yeah, just it was the name associated with the number that you
I'm
were-
catching on to these guys.
Yeah, you start to get familiarized with these guys. It's good.
I told them they have to wear a little name tag saying, "Hello, my name is."
Or like hockey players wear it on the back of their jerseys above the number.
Well, I do like teams that have numbers on the front,
Yes.
because then you can see a number and go, "Okay, yeah, that's."
It helps a
We,
little
we
bit.
can see that, but
Yep. Well, this is a guy that Silver Lake's going to have to keep tame, because McCoy Pierce, he can really hit a ball, and he hit a double back in the third inning with runners on third and first. And have to be very cognizant of knowing where he is.
this is a big at bat for Tyler McWillie on the mound. He's up to 90 pitches on the afternoon, so his day might be winding down. Not saying this is the last batter he'll face, but this is he hopes to be the last batter this inning. Catches the inside corner there, and a swinging strike there on McCoy Pierce. 1-1 the count. 2 down. Gulls and Dawgs tied at 1, although Okotoks with runners on the corners right now, threatening to take the lead. And no throw down to second, as they allow McDowell to steal that base and keep Alex Stuft over at third. We've seen other teams throw down there with a base runner at third, and it's cost them.
Yeah, and that was a huge heads-up play by Zach Griffin, because that's what the Silver Lake Gulls do to other teams all the time, is when you got a runner at third and runner at first, you steal second to try to catch to make the catcher throw to second, and then the guy at third starts taking off. But Zach Griffin held that. He did a fake pump, and then he held on to it, and that was a great heads-up play, because you could have easily caught, if Okotoks wasn't paying attention, you could have easily caught number 41 Alex Stuff to start running home.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's a tentative play. If you think you've got the guy dead to rights, that's fouled back out of play. 2-2 the count now on McCoy Pierce. But if you got to make sure, if you're going to throw down to second, it better be a slow runner, I guess.
Yep.
Or because at this point in time with the guy on third, they weren't holding McDowell on base over at first, so he got a good jump. So they didn't fool Alex Swift over at third. And a called third strike, and Tyler McWillie is just pumped.
Yeah.
He is pumped after that strikeout. That's exactly what he wanted to do to help his team out. Don't worry, guys, I got this. And he definitely got it with his fourth strike strikeout of the afternoon, brings the inning to a close. No runs on 1 base hit. They leave 2 men on base. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning, tied at 1.
Welcome fans from around Alberta and all over Canada and the United States. We love our beautiful new stadium. We hope you do too. If it's your first time here, make some noise. You'll find Delaney on the Okotoks Dawgs dugout right now. Delaney, it looks like a record crowd at the ballpark today. I think we should get the wave going.
I think we should, though. I'd like to do a wave. We're going to start the wave over here. I'm going to count to 3. We're going to send it all the way over to the Gulls dugout. You guys on the Gulls firm, are you ready for a wave? All right, we're going to start here. 1, 2, 3.
Here it comes. Now you gotta send it back. You gotta send it
Send
back.
it back, send it back. They're coming. All right, one more time, all the way back, up again.
What a great crowd. Thanks, Delaney, and thank you for coming to the ballpark this afternoon. Now batting for your Silver Lake Gulls.
Leading things off here in the bottom of the 5th inning is the first baseman, number 35, Noah Hull. He'll face a new pitcher, though. And that might be a good thing for Noah because he's struck out twice facing the starter, David Case. This is Logan Rumberg stepping in now here in the bottom of the 5th inning. And a big sweeping curve that just about missed everything.
Yeah, and as the pitcher and David Casey, his pitch count was getting close to 100. So is Tyler McWillies now at just over 90. So we're also seeing warm-ups going on in the Gulls bullpen. So that might have even been the end of the night for McWillie. We'll see. This is, like you said, I think Jared Arnold that's warming things up right now in the bullpen.
I believe it is. That's my guess, and I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, good guess.
1-1 to count on Noah Hull. He's not used to any dramatics in the 5th inning. He waits for the 9th. That misses inside for ball 2.
Yeah, he exchanged a nice little smile over to Jeff Chipley behind the plate.
Another man with a big personality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And busy. He loves to be busy. Jeff Chipley, his summer is all about baseball. He's really good at what he does.
And Noah Hull gives this a ride down the right field line, but that just goes foul.
Wow.
The body English not enough to keep it fair as he was leaning towards the inside. Thinking, come on, come on. And not quite. And I have to ask Noah, he's walked off 2 games now with a home run and a single or a base hit. And both times he's been minus his jersey after as soon as his teammates get to him. Now, I can't remember if they're taking it off of him or he's taking it off right away. But he goes jerseyless as soon as he walks it off.
At least he's got a shirt underneath.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was about to add that.
Yeah.
But thank you, Noah. We appreciate that. And he fans after that hard hit ball down the right field line that just missed. And Rumberg comes back with a strikeout for the first out of the inning, bringing up the center fielder, Caden Zeroni.
Yeah, Zeroni got on base back in the 3rd thanks to an error at 3rd base, which Alex Stuff just couldn't quite control his hard hit ball. So this is another guy that's not quite had things going yet for him.
This is inside, ball 1.
You know, another guy that I could say is making a probably case for himself, making Snap Fitness Player of the Game. Maybe at bat hasn't been doing anything, but out in left field, Mr. Chase Rodriguez, I would also, you know, maybe
He's in the
throw
running.
his name in the ring as well.
He's in the running.
Absolutely.
He's in. It's still early.
It's very early, yeah.
But it's early, but it's late too.
It could come down to that
Yeah.
last inning, that last pitch.
In a 1-1 game, who knows? That the guy who walks it off this time might be the guy who wins it, if they have to walk it off. We don't know yet. Lots can happen. These guys, we don't write their script. Rumberg catches the outside corner, the one that Tyler McWillie has been looking for most of the afternoon. Rumberg just got that pitch, and the count now 2-1. Sam Stem is the batter on deck, as the sun is trying to make its way back out here, and the clouds have just kind of gone right over top of us and headed towards Calgary.
It's starting to clear up now on this Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, maybe closer to Innisfail. Give you folks that don't know Central Alberta geography lesson. Innisfail, about 20 minutes to the south of us, off the QE2, the main highway that runs north-south in our province. This is out of play. Scalo Lombard got close enough to the screen to make sure that if it stayed in play, he had a play on it, and the fan giving the young baseball player, the young fan, a ball.
That's awesome.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah. That's huge. And you're probably pretty happy that he's wearing almost like he's wearing a Pirates hat, but could be it for his own baseball team.
That could be for his own team, yeah. But that is a Pittsburgh Pirates hat.
Yeah. I know you like your Pirates.
There you go. You know, I saw something the other day, and there's a strikeout for Logan Rumberg as he sends Caden Zeroni back to the bench. It was during the All-Star game, and this is where somebody should have just given this fan a smack in the back of the head. They're standing up against the railing, waiting for the players to walk by and getting autographs, right, and holding up the baseball. So this guy, who's probably in his 50s, is elbowing this 12-year-old out of the way so he can get his ball autographed. And I thought,
wow.
and the kid turned around and just gave him a look and it said something to him, and the guy just scowled at him and just kept on pushing his way to the front. It's like, if I'm the player, that guy does not get a sniff.
Yeah, exactly.
That was terrible.
That's brutal.
Oh my goodness.
You're 50 and you got to beat a 12-year-old to a signing.
It's like, come on, man. 1-1 the count here on Sam Stem. I think it's 1-1. They put 0-2 on the board, but that ball was well outside. Huh?
Yeah, they're fixing it.
Okay, there we go. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. You know that. And a swinging strike there on Sam Stem. So 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Gulls and Dawgs are all tied up at 1. Looks like this one could potentially come down to the wire.
A true game between the two top teams in the league.
Absolutely.
That's what you like to see.
A couple of heavyweights going at it here.
Yeah, close. It's not going to be a blowout by any stretch.
They're even on the score. Gulls with 1 more base hit, 6-5, and the Gulls with 1 more error, unfortunately, 3-2. But here's the big stat for the Gulls. 8 men left on base so far.
Yeah, and that's something you got to work on.
And that is a glaring statistic right there. They got base runners, but they're not cashing them in. But that's something that this Okotoks team does to you.
Yeah, that's what it shows the Okotoks can do to you too. Is you can maybe get a little bit of, a few looks and things like that, as that goes way outside. But Okotoks is a team that always seems to settle down and find a way to close out an inning no matter what. So that just kind of goes to show the skill level and the composure that this Okotoks Dawgs team has as well.
Yeah, it's a sign of a good team, and both these teams are very adept at doing that. And striking out the side is Logan Rumberg as he comes in for David Case. and does the job on the Sylvan Lake Gulls here in the bottom of the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, nobody left on base. 3 strikeouts there for Logan Rumberg. We will head to the top of 6, still knotted up at 1 apiece.
Now pitching on the hill and warming up out of the bullpen for your Silver Lake Gulls. From Colby College in Kansas, his hometown is Red Deer, Alberta. Please welcome to the line, Jared Arnold.
Top of 6 here, and some changes for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. On the mound, taking over from Tyler McWillie, is Red Deer's Jared Arnold. McWillie, with 5 innings pitched, gave up 1 run on 5 base hits and struck out 4. And then some defensive changes. Mike Polson, who we know suffered a little bit of an injury over at second base, making a tag on a play, and he is out of the game. Ethan He has moved over to shortstop, and Matty Fung is making an appearance over at second base. So now you're all caught up. Everybody else is exactly where we left them back in the last inning. Jared Arnold facing, this is the right fielder, Alejandro Cazorla.
Yeah, and that could be a little bit of a big loss for the Sylvan Lake Gulls with Polson not being at shortstop, because we know how big of a importance he is to this club. Such a dynamic player.
Yeah. And it's not like Ethan is a stranger to shortstop. He's played a bit of a shortstop here with Sylvan Lake, but he wants to, he prefers second base, and he does a fine job at either position. But you're right, Polson is a little bit more of a spark plug when it comes to the all-around game, maybe.
Yeah.
And Jared Arnold as home plate umpire. Jeff Chipley just kind of, I'm not sure if he caught Chipley by surprise too. Like, I'm not sure to call that. I'm just not going to call anything. So he didn't make any signal whatsoever. So a full count now on the Dawgs right fielder. And this is popped up. Matty Fung will make his first play of the game over at second base. He's out on the grass in right field and puts his glove on it. And that's one down, and that'll bring up the home run hitter of the afternoon. The left fielder, Noah Geekie, homered in the top of the second inning to lead things off. Matty Fung checking his glove. Yep, it worked.
Yeah, it's all intact there.
Yeah.
Yeah, great first play to get him kind of in the game.
That's fouled out of play by Noah Geekie.
Nothing like that when you're coming into a game cold. You want to kind of get some action right off the get-go and and that was perfect for Matty Fung.
And he has another one come to his right, but that was well hit by Geeky and ends up into center field for a base hit. And that'll bring up the catcher, Caleb Lombard.
So the Lethbridge Bulls and Brooks Bombers game just getting underway, and top of the first, still scoreless.
Looks like about 1,647 people in the crowd right now.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 1680. Breaking record breaking, as Joe Whitbread said on the PA system already at this game. It looks like a record-breaking crowd tonight.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm hoping he's right.
And we haven't heard any guesses from Rob Catcher and Warren Rudd.
Well, we know Warren will wait till
Warren
we
waits
find out the actual number.
Yeah, that's when he puts his guess in. He waits till they've announced it.
I do know it's over 1,500 because Akil Samuel told me that there was over 1,500 ticket sales by noon. So he thought for sure we'd be reaching over 16.
Okay.
Maybe, just maybe.
I just got word that Warren Rudd's guess was 1617.
1617. All right.
A throw over there to first by Jared Arnold. 2-0 the count here on the catcher, Caleb Lombard. Noah Geeky with a base hit here in the top of the 6th inning. He's the base runner over at first. And Arnold missing outside with that one. 3-0 the count now on Caleb Lombard. And the first baseman, Connor Cruson, is the man on deck. The Gulls and Dawgs locked in a 1-1 battle here at Gulls Field at Pagato Park, and Lombard taking all the way, and Jared Arnold takes advantage of that, throwing a strike. And he catches that inside corner for strike 2.
Yeah, that was a great throw.
That's
Inside and down low.
And that's the one Tyler McMillan was trying for all afternoon, and without much success. And you got to throw inside, especially to some of these guys that have so much power. You don't want them getting their arms extended. The runner takes off for second. A throw down there by Zach Griffin. Good glove there by Ethan He, keeping it from going to the outfield. But that base runner was going to be over at second anyways, as Lombard draws the walk. So got the first batter out with a fly ball, or a pop fly out to shallow right center field that Matty Fung took care of over at second base. But the next two batters, a single by Geeky and a walk to Lombard as runners on first and second, and that will cause a visit from pitching coach Matt Haight to discuss just what's going on and talk to his pitcher and see what he's feeling, how they want to attack Connor Crowson.
Yeah, definitely an interesting meeting by Matt Habe calling it, but it makes sense because, you know, you got the first, you get the first out, and then after that, Okotoks starting to gain some traction with two runners on base. Good thing just to settle things down now before it gets even uglier and make sure everybody's on the same page. So we'll see what happens here with Jared Arnold on the mound, with Connor Crowson stepping up to bat. This would be huge. I mean, Sylvan Lake Gulls, we've seen Okotoks show how they can kind of, you know, maybe allow a few base runners, but then they can crack down and put a stop to it without any damage, and we'll see if Sylvan Lake can do the same.
Yeah, this is their opportunity to show what they've got here. As Arnold misses with that one high, ball one. So our man in the truck, Rob Catcher, just went all prices right on you. His guess is 1681. Just a sad shake of the head and a smirk by my partner, Cale Clark.
No, well, he's a Rider fan.
Well, that would make me shake my head too.
Yeah.
But 1-1 the count or the score here at Gulls Field. We are in the top of the 6th inning between the first and second place teams, the Okotoks Dawgs and the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the western half of the Western Canadian Baseball League. Pretty much what we might have expected from these two teams, who both come with good pitching and good defense, which can happen at any time in this league. You might get a blowout, and the next night you get a pitcher's duel. Makes that an exciting league to watch, that's for sure. And a little discussion there, Zach Griffin just making sure that he and Jared Arnold are on the same page. 2-0 the count on Connor Croson.
What do you think that Griffin said to Arnold? Cheeseburger for dinner tonight? Yep. Oh, okay. Sounds good.
That was former Gulls catcher Logan Grant. That was his favorite thing to do, is to go out there. I'm not talking baseball. He knows what he has to do.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Jesse Simpson warming up in the bullpen for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, just in case Jared Arnold can't seem to bring it around. But that was a nice strike there. So we'll see what Arnold does here, if he can settle his way into this game.
2-1 the count on Croson. And make that 2-2 now. Noah Geekie over at second base. Caleb Lombard is the base runner over at first. They're not holding anybody on. Gulls playing at double play depth. Looking to turn one here to close out the inning. Croson 0 for 2 on the night. Ground out to short. And a fly out to center field. And he sends this out to right field. Sam Stem making a backhanded grab, and he's going to double. Oh, I thought he could double up the runner over at first there. Or did they call it a base hit?
That was a base hit. I think he dropped that.
I thought he caught it.
I thought so too, but I think it bounced off the turf and then back into his, or off the ground and into his gloves. So.
Okay, so a single there for Croson. Now the bases are loaded here for Alex Stuft, who walked back in the second inning and then got on base after an error by shortstop Mike Polson.
So the Gulls had bases loaded a few innings ago, and now it's Okotoks' turn. So we'll see what Sylvan Lake can do here, if they can kind of copy suit on what Okotoks did and close the inning without too much damage being caused.
Jared Arnold looking to either a strikeout, a little pop up to the infield, or a ground ball right at somebody at base, because they can step on any bag right now and record the out. And he's in front quickly, 0-2 on Alex Stuff, the number 9 batter here in the Dawgs lineup. The leadoff batter, Brendan Luther, is the man on deck. Jared Arnold trying to work his way out of this full bases loaded jam. That's fouled out of play. Great effort by Sam Stem, by the way, out in right field. I thought he caught that, but I don't see that far.
Not an easy grab. It was hard for me to even see that, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell if it was a ball that came out or if it was his hat, but yeah, it turned out it was a ball that popped to the glove and landed on the ground. But then he kind of got it back in his glove right away, though, so that's why it made it look like a grab, because it quickly bounced off the ground back into his glove. So it's amazing how these guys can keep it controlled in their glove after making a dive like that.
And this is out to Stem out in right field. He has got a strong arm, but he's not going to even try to go at home. And he's trying to keep the runner over at second. And that will be an RBI for Alex Stuft as he sends that to right field, records the out. But he cashes in Noah Geekie, who got things going here in the 6th inning for the Dawgs with a base hit. So we got 2 down here, and Brendan Luther will stride to the plate to face Jared Arnold, who took over from Tyler McWillie here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, Brendan Luther 1 for 3 on the evening with that single back in the 1st inning. After that, he's flown out to outfield twice in a row, once to left and once to center.
And Arnold paints the corner for Strike one.
Probably feeling a little bit more comfortable knowing there's no one over at third right now.
Yeah, that could be a distraction for a right-handed pitcher looking at a guy at third base. He's there. But the other two guys are also there too. And this is grounded down to Matty Fung. He's going to flip it over to Noah Hull. Takes him off the base, but he makes the tag instead. So maybe a little lackadaisical with the throw over to first for Matty Fung, but the job is done. And the Gulls retire the Dawgs here, but not before Okotoks cashes in a run and takes a 2-1 lead as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Gulls coming to bat.
Well, your summer doesn't have to end, but eventually the Silver Lake Gulls home schedule does. If you haven't got tickets yet, make sure you do so. We got a pair of games this week, Tuesday and Thursday night, the 26th and the 28th. Tuesday, the Fort McMurray Giants are in town, and Thursday night it's the Edmonton Prospects. Both games begin at 7:05. Burn tickets and some seats are left for both games. You can find them online at silverlakegulls.com. Just a reminder, next week, August 3rd and 4th, the Brooks Bombers come to town. August 3rd is Fan Appreciation Night here at Gulls Field. Lots of prizes and celebrity guests to introduce you to. We hope you'll grab a seat to an upcoming Gulls game online at silverlakegulls.com. Now pitching for the Okotoks Dawgs. On the hill, number 3, Cade Herman. Now batting for the Silver Lake Gulls, the third baseman, number 8, Matthew Curata.
Well, bottom of the 6th inning here in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, as the Dawgs and the Gulls, two top teams in the league, battling it out yet again for the 9th time this season. Matthew Curata at the plate, facing new pitcher on the mound, number 3, Cade Herman, as the Dawgs continue to change things up. That goes right to the shortstop and Brennan Luther over to first, and they make the throw in time as Crowson has his foot extended and out on the bag. Curata will take a seat, and the Gulls will bring up the next batter, Zach Griffin.
Here's the catcher, number 31.
2-1 Okotoks leads this game here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Dawgs scoring 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 6th inning, and the Gulls answering in the bottom half of the 2nd, but have since been shut down by 3 Okotoks pitchers. This is the 3rd one into the game, Cade Herman. And Dawgs are probably not done getting pitchers in the game. They might be just everybody gets an inning kind of thing. That's Connor Robbins warming up over in the Dawgs bullpen now. No action in the Gulls bullpen, so I'm assuming Jared Arnold will come back out to start the 7th inning.
Yeah, however, Jesse Simpson was warming up
Oh,
there
he was.
while
That's
he
right,
was
too.
throwing, so you never know.
And Griffin sends this out to center field, but Micah McDowell takes a few steps back and makes the catch. And 2 down, 2 up, 2 down for the Gulls, and this will bring up Ethan He. Strikeout and a fly out to center. He started the game over at second base, but an injury to shortstop Mike Polson has, we don't know the extent of that injury, by the way. So Polson family, if you're concerned, we don't know yet. So we're just speculating. We know he had a little bit of something to do with his leg.
Yeah, awkward collision with the
Yeah.
base runner when he was tagging him out. So didn't seem all that aggressive or anything like that, but it must have just been a way he turned around and tagged, maybe pulled something even, who knows. But
Could be, yeah. But this is Ethan He, the shortstop now, coming in to face Cade Herman. And that ball, this is low for ball 1.
I'm thinking the guy that knows for sure what's wrong with Polson is Rob Manka.
Yeah, and he won't tell us.
No.
I mean, he'd like to, but he probably has orders from above saying, you know what, it's 2 guys talking on the air. Don't tell them exactly what the injuries are.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't tell them at all.
Even though the players themselves are more
Yeah, they're more open.
open to telling you what's wrong with them, but
We'll find out at the end of the game. But at this point, no. Yeah, pretty good crowd out there. Not sure if it's a record.
yeah,
It'd be nice if it is.
it might be off by the record guess, but one can hope.
And Ethan He draws a walk here to keep the inning alive for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. That'll bring up the new second baseman, Matty Fung, who moved over to second.
Yeah.
As Ethan He moved over to short to take the place of Mike Polson.
Now batting, the second baseman, number 4.
Well, we're just kind of rolling along here at Gulls Field at Pagattle Park. 2-1, the Dawgs lead the hometown Sylvan Lake Gulls. And Cade Herman, the new pitcher, misses low for ball 1 on Fung. Ethan He, the runner over at second. Not sure if they're going to put the steal on, but why not?
And according to online, this might be the first time we see Matty Fung bat for the first time in the last 7 days. There's not really anything on the website here that's showing that he's done anything the last 7 days. So
No.
he's been quite, he hasn't been quite,
Well, he's been recovering from a hamstring.
busy. So he's been,
That's his
recovering from
focus.
an injury,
Yeah, that's his focus right now. So he's recovered enough. As has Cleary Simpson. He had a hamstring problem.
Yeah, and Simpson's been out probably one of the longer players to, I guess, sit out a stretch of games, and I don't know. We haven't seen any update if he'd be coming back sooner than later. But some of these other guys have been already returning since, and Cleary was one of the first ones to get that hamstring injury started. So 1-2 to Matty Fung, 2 away here in Sylvan Lake. And that's down and low, so 2-2, evening the count.
And we're not saying hamstrings are running rampant here, but
No.
that's Matty Fung, Cleary Simpson, and Jason Leon, who is a newer addition to the Gulls lineup from Indio, California. He hurt his hamstring as well, and he thought he might be back shortly, but it's been a couple of weeks now, and I don't know if he's gone back home to California. That's off one of the facade of one of the suites out here.
And a little girl getting a baseball souvenir, thanks to Dad catching it for her.
Mm-hmm.
I love to see it.
That's what parents do. Mom, Dad, catch the ball, give it to the kid.
Yep.
And then you can brag about the catch for the rest of that child's life. I saved your life catching a baseball. Did you know that? He'll hold it over. 2-2 the count to Matty Fung. He fists this down to Brendan Lutherovich short. He scoops it up and slings it over to first base. And just like that, the Gulls' threat of scoring anything this inning is eliminated. So no runs on no base hits. They leave one more man on base. We are through 6 complete. Okotoks leading your Sylvan Lake Gulls 2-1. Top of the 7th inning coming up.
Thanks, Joe. If you guys look out into the field, you might recognize a familiar face. We have Morgan from our promo team running out here. She's our snapback racer tonight, and it's her 24th birthday. We also have a guest snapman who's never ran before, so we're going to see how this goes. Snapman, Morgan, are you guys ready? All right, Morgan, you're going to go first. Snapman second. Birthday girl, go! Snapman, go! It's gonna be close! Go, Morgan, go! Oh, and it goes to Snapman. Let's have a round of applause for our guest Snapman. A round of applause for the birthday girl.
Happy birthday, Morgan. I love you. That's my daughter, everybody. That's my daughter. Happy birthday, darling. While we're at it, let's say a big happy birthday.
Top of the
to
7th inning
Natasha
here at
Fawcett,
Gulls Field
who's
at
celebrating
Bagatelle
her
Park. The Gulls
21st
trailing
birthday
the
at the
Sylvan
ball
or
game
the
tonight.
Okotoks Dogs 2-1 here, and we just had the Snapman race.
Yeah.
And our in-house announcer Joe Whitbread, his daughter, who's Morgan Whitbread, who also does in-house stuff here at Gulls Field, raced Snapman, and although she didn't beat Snapman here on her birthday, happy birthday, Morgan. She kept her little happy birthday tiara on the whole time she ran.
Impressive.
So
That's pretty impressive.
That's a skill right there. Jared Arnold is on the mound facing the second baseman Ricardo Sanchez here in the top of the 7th inning.
And also another thing I noticed too is I don't know if this is in relation to Josh Fawcett, but Natasha Fawcett is also celebrating her birthday today. So I'm not sure if that may be the wife of Josh or
I'm not sure.
a relationship of some sorts.
I don't have an answer to that.
Happy
one.
birthday to Natasha as well.
3-1 the count right now on Ricardo Sanchez. Top of 7. And that's out to center field. Zeroni a couple of steps back to his left. And that is the first out of the inning. That will bring up the center fielder Micah McDowell. Jared Arnold taking over from Tyler McWillie, who had a couple of 5 innings of work. Yep, 5 innings of work, struck out 4, gave up 5 hits, and 1 run, which was the home run by Noah Geekie. That gave the Dogs the 1-0 lead back in the 2nd inning. The Dogs have since added 1 more run to that total, so they are up 2-1 here in the top of the 7th. McDowell sends that out of play. He had a base hit back in the 1st inning, struck out in the 3rd, and another base hit in the 5th inning. So he's been active. He's been on base twice now. So this would be a good guy to keep off the base, as you got a guy who can hit the ball hard coming up on deck, and that is McCoy Pierce. And that is going to land fair and get right into the corner. Chase Rodriguez hustles over. He's going to throw in towards third base, and a double to get things going for the Dogs here by Micah McDowell. That will bring up the designated hitter, McCoy Pierce.
And I got to say, Micah McDowell's having quite the night here, or quite the day today. Micah McDowell with 2 singles, a double. So he's gone 3 for 4 at bat today, and he continues to be a threat against the Sylvan Lake Gulls in this close 2-1 game.
That's grounded down to third. And Corrado up with it, over to first base. He holds the runner McDowell over at second. And that is the second out of the inning. That will bring up the right fielder, Alejandro Cazorla, who is 0 for 3 on the night. Fly out to left, fly out to right, and a pop up to second. Cazorla sends this towards the bullpen.
And I was just looking at the bullpen there and the guys that are sitting on the bench. I don't think they really realized that ball was coming at them until it went over their head, and then a last-minute duck at the bench there kind of woke them up a bit, and they looked behind them as they heard it land right behind them.
I think some of those guys are on their phone.
Yeah, probably hanging out, checking their Twitter.
Checking Twitter, checking Instagram,
Facebook.
TikTok. Was that a thing still?
TikTok? Oh yeah.
Okay.
Huge.
I just want to make sure. I want to keep up with the cool kids.
My girlfriend can testify to that because
Okay.
she spends probably 8 hours a day on that thing.
Wow.
Oh, it's crazy.
Hmm.
Maybe that's an exaggeration, but spends a lot of time, let's just say, on TikTok.
Oh, I'm sure you're going to hear about how much time she spends on that when you get home.
Yeah.
She's going to tell you.
She might, yeah.
If she's listening.
She might be tuning in and we don't know.
She's going to tell you exactly how much time. She's going to turn around and tell you exactly the things that you do. You know how that works,
yeah,
right?
you know it's coming.
You know how that works.
Yeah.
That's fouled. Up against the screen. The count 2-2 now on Alejandro Cazorla. 2 down in the top of the 7th inning. The Dawgs with a 2-1 lead now over Sylvan Lake Gulls. Timeout there called by Zach Griffin.
The Gulls bullpen is looking pretty chill right now. Someone getting a tan on it over there.
They're over there. It's a relaxing time in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Cazorla staying alive. More of a defensive swing than anything.
I know one guy that's pretty relaxed for the Sylvan Lake Gulls right now, and that's Hunter Jones, because he told me today, I said, you're going to be making your appearance tonight? And he said, no, I think that's Wednesday. So
Okay.
Wednesday night, I would think, is going to be Hunter Jones night here in Sylvan Lake.
An off-speed pitch there. A slow bouncer to Corrado over at third. And Noah Hull can't make the scoop, and they are going to score a run on that play. And some heads-up running there by Micah McDowell, as he was over at third base, and Noah Hull couldn't quite scoop that throw by Matthew Corrado. And as the ball got away from Noah Hull, the third base coach for the Dawgs, seeing what's going on, sent his base runner home. And so Micah McDowell scores the third run of the game. The Dawgs now with a 3-1 lead and a runner over at first. And that's out to center field, and Caden Zeroni comes in and makes the catch on Noah Geekie, bringing the inning to a close. But the Dawgs once again doing the damage, scoring the 1 run on the 1 base hit. They left 1 man on base. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning after this 7th inning stretch. Gulls with a 3-1 lead over Sylvan Lake.
It is that time. It is time for our 7th inning stretch. So everyone, we're going to get up. We're going to stretch out.
It also means it's time for a song. And I'm scared to sing this to you guys, so you guys have to help me out. All right, let's hear it. All right. Take me out to the ball game.
New update for the 50/50 sales just came to us thanks to our friends from Vesta Energy who are on the concourse and in the seats and down the berms. Quickly selling 50/50. Look at that jackpot, everybody. On the big screen, 3,500 and still growing. All in support of the Gulls Gift Foundation, which is hosting their annual golf tournament, the inaugural golf tournament, this Friday at the Silver Lake Golf and Country Club. Grab a 50/50 ticket while you still can from any of those amazing volunteers in the stands today, presented by Vesta Energy, and thank you. We hope you win. New pitcher from the bullpen for the Okotoks Dawgs. Now pitching number 12, Connor Robbins.
Connor Robbins steps on the mound now, the fourth pitcher for the Okotoks Dawgs this afternoon. Seems the strategy is they have their starter go, and now they're going to each member of the bullpen, or several members of the bullpen, will each get an inning, it looks like.
Yeah, and they're warming up someone else in the bullpen already. So that must be a strategy Okotoks has, is just keeping things fresh. Now, that could possibly haunt them if one pitcher is just not on their game and you know, they start throwing some balls that the Silver Lake Gulls can read easily. But it'll be interesting to see. That's just, I guess, confidence in your pitching for the Okotoks Dawgs to keep things fresh every inning.
Exactly. Chase Rodriguez steps in to face the new pitcher in Connor Robbins. Rodriguez having a tough afternoon, 0 for 3 at the plate, but he's made some outstanding catches in left field to save the Gulls some runs.
Oof, that was outside.
Yeah, that was a little bit outside. And this is high and outside. Full count now on Rodriguez, leading things off here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Gulls trailing 3-1 to Okotoks. That misses well inside. Chase Rodriguez will start things off with a base on balls, and that will bring up the designated hitter, Jackson Clement, who has struck out twice and walked once. The story of the afternoon, I believe, and I could be wrong, but this is 9 base runners left on base by the Silver Lake Gulls.
Yeah, and it's gone both ways too, because Okotoks is also a team that's had, you know, some runners left on base as well.
Same number,
right?
Yeah.
They had bases loaded at one point, and you know they only got 1 run out of bases loaded, just like Sylvan Lake did. So it's that just goes to show you the top 2 teams in the league, how great they can close down things if they need to, and if things start to slip a little bit, they're quickly to fix them. And here now we already see a meeting on the mountain. And when you're a top team in a game like this, there's just not a lot of room for error allowed out there. If the coach starts to see you're, you know, not throwing the way he wants you to be, he'll make sure you know it. And in a close game like this, they're not afraid to be changing out pitchers, as we've already can see.
That's right. They've got a lot of guys sitting on the bench over there, so they throw them in.
Yeah.
Might as well use those arms. These kids came here to play, so go ahead, play.
Not allowing much time for these pitchers to redeem themselves, that's for sure.
And they're going to send a message over to the bullpen to get somebody loosened up. And that misses inside by Robbins, who took over from Cade Herman, who took over from Logan Rumberg, who took over from the starter, David Case. Now you're all caught up. The takeovers. And they're not hostile takeovers. But there's the second walk in a row for Connor Robbins, so he may not be long for this game.
No.
If that's the sort of thing, because now the go-ahead run comes to the plate in the form of, it looks like the new first baseman, Jaden Lamont. He's taking over from Noah Hull, who's had a tough afternoon, 3 strikeouts to his credit, but he's made some strong plays on the defensive side. So that's kind of how it's going. The offense maybe not there. The defense doing the job, but this is the end of the afternoon for Connor Robbins. He faces 2 batters, and he looked over. He wasn't even making eye contact with his coach. He was looking at the ground and looking at the catcher, and he looks over and he goes, "Oh, you're out here to get me, aren't you?" Yep. He just, yeah, that was 2 walks was enough for the coach to see, and he thought, "Nah, we are going to extend this and get a new pitcher in here." So while they warm up, we will take a short break and be back.
In from the bullpen for the Dawgs. Now pitching.
All right, continuing things off in the bottom of the 7th inning, 2 runners on base. And that is Chase Rodriguez, Jackson Clement getting on base thanks to base on balls.
Jaden Lamont squares the bunt there. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say Jaden
I
Lamont
just
at the plate.
Realized I needed to turn my microphone on. And, or maybe they just kept it off. I don't know.
So this is Seth Thompson on the mound for Okotoks.
And Jaden Lamont's going to square the bunt again. Watches that pitch for a strike. And, you know, just what we were talking about before this game about how the Gulls have been using the bunt. This is a perfect opportunity to try and get a run scored here, get 2 guys into scoring position as opposed to 1. And Lamont lays down a perfect bunt. That is exactly what you wanted there.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not exactly. Maybe he would have wanted the third baseman to play that, to make for a longer throw. But he got the job done as Rodriguez moved over to third and Clement moves over to second. So Jaden Lamont comes in and does the job for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. That's the first out of the inning. Caden Zeroni will step in to face Seth Thompson.
Yeah, I was watching the body language too from Croton, and he was pinching in. He knew it was coming, so he ran quickly on there and had second baseman cover him.
And Thompson misses with that pitch to Zeroni. 1-0 the count. 3-1 Okotoks leads the Sylvan Lake Gulls here in the bottom of the 7th inning, but the Gulls are looking to break this open.
Yeah, absolutely they are. And Okotoks just keeping pitchers changing in and out every inning. They got 2 pitchers right now in the bullpen warming up and just not changing their game plan with instead of sticking with one pitcher, they're deciding to keep it fresh every inning. Now, will that haunt them? I don't know. It depends on how well all these pitchers decide to throw today.
Well, Connor Robbins, his day existed of 2 batters. Now this is into shallow center field as Micah McDonald settles under it and makes a good throw to home plate. So Chase Rodriguez could not score from third base on that play, and that will bring up the right fielder Sam Stem, who hit a hard shot in his last at bat, but just landed foul. That probably would have scored something. As I'm looking at well, he would have got him on base, is what I'm looking at, because there was nobody on base in front of him when he hit that shot. But we have 2 down here and runners on second and third, and the coach calling time and running out here. Something just occurred to him, I think.
Yeah, he seemed really excited to get to the mound, didn't he?
Yeah.
Have a chat with all these guys. So
not sure what he saw or what came to mind, but he's got instructions for everybody out on the mound right now, as the entire infield and the catcher is out there. And of course, they wait for the home plate umpire to get out and then break it up.
yeah, so this could be the change right here, Jim. If the Sylvan Lake Gulls can score a run or 2 here and not leave runners stranded, that could be the difference maker in this ball game, because so far it hasn't been looking good for either team. We've had a lot of runners in scoring position and they've been stranded on base. So if Sam Stem can lift this out to a good area and in play, that could be the game changer.
Well, he's down 0-2 right now to Seth Thompson, who just reared back and fired that one past him. Says 52 on the radar gun, but I'm thinking it was a little bit faster than 52. And that is well hit to center field, but Micah McDonald doesn't have to move much, as he just puts his glove up, catches the ball, and ends the Gulls' hopes here in the bottom of the 7th inning. No runs on no hits. They leave 2 men on base. We head to the top of the 8th. Okotoks with a 3-1 lead over the Sylvan Lake Gulls.
In our sophomore season have welcomed fans from all over North America, including parents from the Sylvan Lake Gulls and from the visitors. For those of you brand new to WCBL baseball action, we would like to welcome you to Gulls Field at Sylvan Lake if you're new to town. The Innisfail Hawks U11 A team is at the ballpark tonight. Welcome to our Innisfail Hawks. It's a wrap-up kind of party day. Enjoy your day. We'd like to say a special hello to a group from Edmonton. Made the drive down to Sylvan Lake. Hello to CJ Campbell Insurance staff. Thanks for celebrating a staff party at the Gulls game. Welcome. And Gord Steinbach is 70 years young at the ballpark today. Happy birthday, Gord. Woo! Celebrating with Natasha and, of course, Morgan. We're glad you're here. If you're celebrating a big day at the ballpark with us in the coming weeks or days ahead, please get in touch with us. We'd love to celebrate with you. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for joining us in Sylvan Lake, Alberta, Canada. There's another special guest in the ballpark today. If the Bat Boy could make an appearance, we'd appreciate it. Where's the Bat Boy? Hey everyone, look down the Gulls Field line and take it back to TV Bobcat to our Bat Boy for the Gulls this afternoon. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Well, Jared Arnold will come out to start the top of the 8th inning. He will face Caleb Lombard, Connor Croson, and Alex Stuft. But there is action in the bullpen for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Joel Port's warming up. And the first pitch is hit foul by Caleb Lombard.
This is actually only Jared Arnold's 4th game playing this season. He's already got 6 strikeouts on the year. Only giving up 3 hits before today's game. That's a hit right there.
That's number 4
for Caleb Lombard.
So the Dawgs lead things off, getting the base runner on right away. That'll bring up their first baseman, Connor Croson, who has a single in 3 times at bat. So the Dawgs scoring things, or started the scoring, I should say, in the top of the 2nd inning with a run. The Gulls tied it up in the air half of the 2nd. Dawgs with a run now in the 6th and a run in the 7th. And they hold a 3-1 edge here as we are in the top of the 8th inning at Gulls Field at Pagano Park. Caleb Lombard, the runner over at first. And Connor Croson at the plate facing Red Deer's Jared Arnold. Nice smooth play over at third base there by the Dawgs coach. They make it look so easy.
They do, yeah. It's not.
Glove, no glove, I don't care.
Yeah. A little maybe stinger in the hand after that. I don't know.
Yeah,
That wasn't too bad, that one, but can't feel good either, grabbing them bare hand like that.
I'm pretty sure I'm just letting them go away if they're hit towards me. 0-2 the count on Croson. Arnold makes a throw over to first. Keep Caleb Lombard closer. More of a courtesy throw, as Lombard doesn't have a very big lead over there at first base. You got to let him know that you can see him. And that's grounded right off the glove. And Matty Fung with up for 1 and turns the double play himself. A great job by Matty Fung as the ball deflected off the glove of Jared Arnold. Goes right to Matty Fung over at second base. He steps on the bag to get the first runner and then fires it over to first to get the second. So a timely double play for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, as I don't think they can afford to go down 4-1 or anything more right now against this Okotoks team.
No, absolutely not. And that was an incredible play by Fung. He absolutely read that play perfectly. He picked up the ball, like he said, off the glove of Arnold, and then having to step on the bag and then also turning completely around while running the other direction, throwing against his body, and the momentum that his body was carrying the other way. That's not easy, and he made the throw to Lamont, and good for Lamont to be able to stretch out there and get that glove on it in time.
Yeah, always a lot of moving pieces to a double play.
Absolutely.
Of course, Matty Fung took one of the moving pieces out, and that was probably the shortstop.
Yeah, that was Ethan He.
Yeah, he could have
stood
flipped
there
it,
and watched.
but no, Ethan, hey, you got this. The less you handle the ball, the better, I'm sure.
Yeah.
3-1 the count now on Alex Stuft. And he grounds this slowly to Matthew Carrata, who's been busy over at third. He double pumps on that one. And another throw under the glove, this time of Jaden Lamont. So I'm not sure how they're going to score that.
That's definitely an error to Matthew Carrata, I would think. Took his time, and then yet even after taking his time, wasn't sure on the throw. You could tell he hesitated, and that hesitation tells me the confidence wasn't quite there. Something wasn't feeling right when he was throwing the ball over to Lamont, and he wanted to make sure, and yet he still threw it way underneath where Lamont was standing over at first. So Alex Stuff getting over to second. He has a pinch runner coming in to help run for him. That's Ruben Cedillo. Or Cedillo, I should say.
So 2 down here in the top of the 8th. The Dawgs with a base runner in scoring position. This is their leadoff hitter, Brendan Luther, who started things off with a single on the first pitch that he saw in the first inning. And then has been 0 for 3 since then. So they've kept him in check. They've kept most of the guys in check. It's a run here and a run there. And we'll see what happens here with Brendan Luther with the base runner in position.
And that's bunted back in behind the play. Or it looked like it maybe wasn't bunted, but it was fouled off. Straight up and behind the catcher and Zach Griffin, but couldn't quite get there in time.
I think that might be Ryan Redeman.
Ryan Redeman warming up in the
bullpen right now. So maybe they're looking at the lineup and seeing who's coming up as far as left-handed batters, because he's the left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, that could be a fair point.
That's fouled out of play. The count 0-2 with 2 down here. This is a key out here for Jared Arnold and the Sylvan Lake Gulls.
Yep, for sure it is. Because they don't have much time left to come back from 2 runs.
And he misses well outside, hoping he can get Luther to chase one. But he's a leadoff batter for a reason, because he makes contact and he's got a good eye. Those are generally 2 of the main components. Having a set of wheels doesn't hurt either when you're leadoff. And he squibs this down the left field line, but that goes foul.
And thankfully for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, that is foul, because that would have easily probably scored yet another run for the Okotoks Dawgs. So if you're the Sylvan Lake Gulls, you got 2 innings left to bat for yourselves, and you're down 2 runs. You don't want it to make it more.
No, not against this team.
And Brendan Luther, he's only had success on the bat once, and that was the very first inning. After that, he's been struggling, so that's something that you can take advantage of if you're the Gulls on this batter. And usually Brendan Luther's a guy that doesn't struggle very often, so for him to have an off night is unusual and uncharacteristic.
2-2 the count on Luther. 2 down, top of the 8th inning. Dawgs with a 3-1 lead over Sylvan Lake. And that is right back up the middle, and that is going to score another run, the 4th run of the game for the Okotoks Dawgs. As that throwing error of Matthew Carrata comes back to haunt them. Brenda Luther with a single right up the middle for a base hit and an RBI. And that will bring up the second baseman, Ricardo Sanchez, with 2 down. So the Dawgs just chip away at you.
Yeah, they sure do in 3 straight innings now that they've scored a run against the Sylvan Lake Gulls lately. So that's just how they can find wins, this Dawgs team, what makes them so good.
Luther takes off for second base, but the throw by Griffin is outside and gets away from Matty Fung, but no problem there, as Luther had no chance going to third. Ethan He was covering things up over at second base. The good news on that whole play is Jared Arnold got a strike on that. So
there you go.
And that misses high and inside for ball 1. Micah McDowell is the batter on deck for the Okotoks Dawgs. Well, the Gulls need to find out a formula that works against this Okotoks team, because I'm sure they're going to meet them in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's a good chance, right? And that's the thing, right? Is just this team is they're a good team, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, other teams can find ways to beat these guys. So you think Sylvan Lake's just got to find somehow, some way to do that. And well, that'll help anyway. That grab out in right center field thanks to Caden Zeroni. And the Sylvan Lake Gulls now have some work to do here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Down 4-1. We'll be back with the bottom of the 8th next right here on Home Team Live.
Also, there's Sully the Gully and the midday host Delaney over here, and we have some special gifts to give to you. We call this ball droppings. It's the good kind of ball droppings. Are you ready to win some prizes? Here they come. All kinds of goodies for the kids. Heads up. It's ball droppings at Gulls Field today. Don't forget Fan Appreciation Night coming up August 3rd right here at the ballpark. We'd love to see you here. Grab your tickets. All kinds of prizes coming your way for young and old. All right, here we go. Now pitching for the Okotoks Dawgs. On the mound, number 43, Matt Wilkinson. Now batting for the Silver Lake Gulls, the third baseman, number 8, Matthew.
Another pitcher, another inning, kind of following the format here of the Okotoks Dawgs. This is Matt Wilkinson, who is, I would suggest, from what I know about this league, that he is the kind of the ace of the staff.
Yeah.
For the Okotoks Dawgs.
And I remember him from last year too. He caused some problems for the Sylvan Lake Gulls.
Matthew Carrata facing him and is quickly down 0-2. Carrata with a couple of base hits this afternoon. He is 2 for 3. Unfortunately, he's also got a couple of throwing errors over at first base. And Wilkinson missing outside with that one, 1-2. And you mentioned, Cale, there's a couple of changes on the defensive side for the Okotoks Dawgs as well.
Yeah, so it looks like out in left field now, replacing Noah Geeky is Ruben Cedillo. Then Noah Geeky moving over to first base in replacement for Connor Crowson. And then Connor Crowson is over at third base, replacing Alex Stuffed. And that's as far as I've gotten. I don't know if there's any other additional changes to that, but that's what we know right now. I think that is all that we have for changes, but
I think it is. And a strikeout there as Carrata leads off the 8th inning with the K. That'll bring up a pinch hitter. That'll be Ben Prediger.
All right. So the hand must be feeling good right about now.
It must be feeling okay. He's got a good solid grip on that bat, and he gave it a good swing just to warm himself up. And he watches that first pitch come in for a strike. Dawgs with a 4-1 lead here in the bottom of the 8th inning. The story of the afternoon, especially for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, is the inability to cash in base runners early in this game. 2 in the first inning left on, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. and 2 again in the 7th inning. So they've had their chances. It's just tough to get runs on against this Dawgs team. And they keep trotting out a fresh pitcher. That misses high. 1-2 the count on Prediger, taking over from Zach Griffin. And a strikeout, the second of the inning for Matt Wilkinson. As you can see, this is why he is the kind of the ace of the staff here for the Okotoks Dawgs. That'll bring up Ethan He.
Now, if I was Ethan He, I'd be watching for this first pitch in this new pitcher. I've noticed now, first 2 batters he's faced, he threw first pitch always off speed and right down the middle, the strike zone. So, if I was Ethan He, maybe swing at the first one. If you can read the off-speed pitch, give it a good swing. That one he didn't though. That one, of course, he throws a fastball. So trying to read too much into it maybe, but.
Well, it's a good eye though. I mean, and that could be just what he was thinking that Ethan He was thinking.
Maybe this will
So
be the
I've thrown
off-speed. Yeah.
I've thrown off speed the first 2 guys. Now I'm just going to heat it up.
Yeah, I guess so.
So 1-1 the count on Ethan He. He is 0 for 2 on the afternoon, including a base on balls back in the 4th inning. And he fists this out into shallow right field. And doesn't matter how pretty it looks like a base hit on the score sheet. And that's all you need to get something going. As Matty Fung will step in. He took over in the 6th inning, I believe, for Mike Polson, who suffered a bit of an injury, a leg injury over at second base in a bit of a collision. So he's been out of the game. So Matty Fung will step in to face Wilkinson, lefty on lefty. And he was looking hard at that one and got the 90-mile-an-hour fastball in the corner. Chase Rodriguez is the man on deck. He'd like to get the bat with runners on base.
Yeah, going back to Ethan He's single there, that was very similar to what he did in the All-Star game last night with a walk-off single. Exact same hit, right to right field, shallow right field. And in fact, once he got to base there, he took a look over at the new pitcher in Wilkinson, and they both kind of gave their shoulders a shrug and yeah, okay, all right. Both of them. And then he exchanged a smile and did the same thing back, so it was good.
Yeah, it's a small community in the WCBL. These guys not only play against each other in this league, some of them play with each other in their collegiate careers. So lots of guys know each other and they know tendencies, and so it's always interesting when they come to bat. And Wilkinson trying to get that outside corner again and evens the count at 2-2 with 2 down. The Gulls with a base runner over at first. However, the tying run is standing on deck right now in Chase Rodriguez. And with one swing of the bat, he can tie things up. And Matty Fung sends this out to center field, but Micah McDowell, I should say, doesn't let much get past him, and he tracks that one down. So the Gulls threaten quietly, but then nothing much happens. They have no runs on 1 base hit. They leave 1 runner on base, and we will head to the top of the 9th. Okotoks with a 4-1 lead over Sylvan Lake.
We're also at so many celebrations, birthdays. I just got a notice it was Nathan and Louise's birthday as well. Our 50-50 current jackpot is $3,930. If you guys want to pull out your tickets, our winning ticket number is 101597. 101597. That's our tickets for 50-50 tonight. So if that's you,
Awesome. Thanks very much, Delaney. Congratulations. Thanks for helping out the Gulls Gift Foundation. And thanks so much to our volunteers working in the hot summer sunshine for Vesca Energy. We appreciate it. Top of the ninth inning now with the visitors at the plate. Here's for center fielder number 20, Micah Dowell.
Top of the ninth inning here at Gulls Field at Pagano Park. Jim Flaggett, Cale Clark with you on Home Team Live. This is the man who made the last out in the bottom of the eighth inning, Micah McDowell, stepping in to face a new pitcher. Or is that Jared Arnold still?
Jared Arnold still
He's
on
still
the
going.
mound. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
66 pitches now for Arnold in this game.
Yeah, that misses or catches the corner.
And I'm almost wondering if that's what Sylvan Lake maybe could do more next game against Okotoks, is switching out the pitchers. But that one hits the foot right on Micah McDowell, so he hobbles off and will get a base hit by pitch. So not the start to the top of this ninth inning that you want if you're Jared Arnold. However, there is some warming up going on in the Gulls bullpen just in case they need to make that adjustment. But down 3 runs, it's still reachable if you can escape this inning with only a 3-run deficit. Arnold's pitching good though, at least still, and comes back there with a strike. McCoy Pierce, the DH at the plate. On deck is Alejandro Cazorla and Noah Geeky. McCoy Pierce are so far 1 for 3 on the evening, or 1 for 4, sorry. He's quickly down 0-2. Runner at first, and swinging he goes. McCoy Pierce strikes out for the second time this game. And Arnold making a case for himself to stay in this game and do what he does best, pitching strikes. So Alejandro Cazorla now at the plate. He is also 1 for 4 on the day. And so 1 away.
McDowell running on that pitch, and that takes them out of the double play. But Ethan, he gets the ball over to first base Jaden Lamont, and that is the second out.
Yeah, and just a quick little visit to the mound after, and that's Ben Prediger too, by the way. That's in the catcher spot and position. So, no Geeky here will have another chance at bat.
Here's the first baseman, number 39, Noah Geeky.
And a good pitch there by Jared Arnold, catches Noah Geeky looking. 4-1, Gulls trail the Okotoks Dawgs here in the top of the ninth inning. Do they have some bottom of the ninth fireworks drama waiting for us? We're going to find out. The job number 1 right now is to keep the score at 4-1.
Yeah, because then at that point, it's still reachable for sure in an inning to score that many runs.
Hard hit over to Karata at third. He fires a strike over to first base. So in spite of the free pass there to Micah McDowell, the Gulls get out of the inning with no runs on no hits and 1 man left on base. We head to the bottom of the ninth inning with the Gulls trailing 4-1.
Here we go. It's a good parenting moment. Teach your kids. That's pretty good. So good. So good. So good. It's a good parenting moment, too. If you want to teach them what a rally inning is, or a rally cap, this is where we need your help, Sylvan Lake.
No, because it does that thing.
All right, fans, no matter where you're from, let's get you ready for baseball. On a summer afternoon in Silver Lake, are you ready?
Sweet Caroline being sung here at Gulls Field, trying to rally the boys, get some energy going here at Gulls Field, and it's going to be a rally needed. And this is a guy that could be the guy to start things off. Chase Rodriguez, he's been quiet tonight, but if you're going to get loud, this is the time to do it.
Well, job number one for the Gulls as Rodriguez watches that strike go in from Matt Wilkinson is to get base runners.
Yeah.
And then job number two, which they have not done this afternoon, is to bring those base runners across. And quickly, Wilkinson is ahead 0-2 on the Gulls left fielder.
It looks like they're going to leave it up to him to close out this game as well.
And why wouldn't you? He throws hard and he throws accurate.
Yeah.
Apparently, and I'm not an expert, but that's a pretty good combination for a pitcher. And Rodriguez hanging in there with the foul ball. He's had a tough day at the plate. A base on balls in the 7th inning, but prior to that, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And both of those came against the left-handed starter, David Case. And he fouls that out of play.
Yeah, left-handed pitcher against left-handed batter. And he's got a left-handed batter on deck as well with Jackson Clement, the DH for the evening. So that might have been the decision going behind why they're keeping Matt Wilkinson on the mound. A couple lefties in the batting order to start off the 9th. Tips that off. Gotta give credit though, Rodriguez doing a good job staying alive in the batter's box right now.
Yeah, this is a good at bat for Chase.
Just has to wait for the right pitch. And there it is. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. I thought for sure that was going to be good. Just turned around on that one too much. That was close though.
It was close. Got people excited here
Yeah,
in
sure
the
did.
stands. Have they said the attendance yet? I don't think they have.
I don't think so, no.
I'll just remind everybody that you had 1680 and it had 1647.
And the 50-50 was pretty good too.
Oh, okay.
Today.
That's good.
Yeah.
Raising money for charities. And Chase Rodriguez is having a very, very good at bat here against a very tough pitcher in Matt Wilkinson.
Yeah, making him earn it, that's for sure. 24 pitches.
Yeah, we're at the point, I think, for Rodriguez, however, that if it's close, he's swinging.
The crowd's getting into it.
And he sends this right back up the middle, and Brendan Luther makes an outstanding play, but he pulls the first baseman off the bag. That is Noah Geekie over at first now. And Chase Rodriguez with an outstanding at-bat against Matt Wilkinson.
to get the base runner, something the Gulls definitely need here to start off the bottom of the 9th inning.
And that was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. After seeing the ball go up the middle, Brandon Luther stretched out and made an incredible play to, stop that in its tracks. And then he almost made the throw in time. But if it was on target, I bet he would have maybe been able to get the out in time too. But unfortunately, no Geeky was taken off his base. So Rodriguez over there to make it in time.
And this will be Jackson Clement stepping in to face Matt Wilkinson. Clement with a couple of bases on balls and a couple of strikeouts. So he's yet to reach base and hit the ball into get the ball into play. Now, I don't know if they are going to try and get Rodriguez over to second with a bunt or give him the green light to steal. Because he does have a decent lead over at first, but you got a left-handed pitcher holding you on. And Jackson Clement just makes that all a moot point as he sends that right back up the middle. So the Gulls, with back-to-back base hits, have something going here in the bottom of the 9th. And Jaden Lamont will step in to face the left-hander. No action in the bullpen for the Dawgs, and coaches are staying on the bench. So this is just a little discussion between catcher and pitcher to see what they want to do with Jaden Lamont. And I believe in this instance, the catcher, Caleb Lombard, has the last word.
Well, this is the tie-in run too at the plate with Jaden Lamont. So this is promising right now for Sylvan Lake. This is what they need to do if they're going to rally back in this game.
The 4, 5, and 6 batters in the lineup are scheduled now for the Gulls. And this is 3 for 3 as far as base hits. I don't know if this will score a run as Chase Rodriguez is held over at third, but back to back to back base hits. The bases are now loaded for the Sylvan Lake Gulls as the script writers are busy doing their job, setting up for another dramatic finish here at Gulls Field at Pagato Park.
Yeah, I like that decision by Lamont to swing at the first pitch, because I noticed that Wilkinson went back to that off-speed first pitch with a new batter technique where it worked for him to start things out when he came in relief. So now he's struggling to find anything that's going to work for him. And a big cut there by Caden Zeroni to keep things going the right direction.
Well, you got an all-star at the plate.
Yeah, and you know what? He may not have hit one over the fence at the home run derby last night, but today would mean a lot if he could do it here.
That would be overly dramatic.
Yes, it would.
But it would be well appreciated by the fans here at Gulls Field, and of course by his teammates as well. But a base hit will suffice as well, because that could score too if it's hit to the right spot, like down the line, either right field or left field. And Zeroni fouls that back off the screen. You count 1 and 2 now on the left fielder or center fielder, who is 0 for 3 on the night. He reached base on an error to the third baseman at the time. The third baseman was Alex Stuft. So the fans urging on Caden Zeroni at the plate. Nobody out here, bases loaded. Gulls trailing 4-1, but they've got something going here. And Zeroni staying alive. So these guys they are just bearing down and gritting their teeth against a very good pitcher. Chase Rodriguez started it with probably fouling off at least 5 or 6 pitches when he was down 0-2, and he just hung in there and got the single, and then a base hit by Jackson Clement, and then another base hit by Jaden Lamont, and here we are. Nobody down with the bases loaded. Gulls trailing by 3. And a big strikeout for Matt Wilkinson.
And his rear back and fired a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. That'll bring up the right fielder, Sam Stem, who's had a couple of hard hit baseballs today, but really nothing to show for it. He did have a single back in the first inning, or the second inning, and scored the only run here for the Gulls. But he's had a couple of strikeouts and a fly out to center field. And a couple of loud strikes down the right field line. I think he missed the one by about, from here, looked like by a couple of feet. That was it. Wilkinson gets the call in the outside corner there to go up 0-1.
Yeah, those are the calls that have been hit and miss lately here today with Jeff Chipley at the home plate. Some catching, some not. Looks like they're going to go away again. That one way outside.
Matthew Karate is the on-deck batter here for the Gulls. He is 2 for 4 on the evening. Couple of singles. 1-1 to count on Sam Stem. Takes a step out of the box to get himself settled and maybe get Matt Wilkinson out of his rhythm. He looks like the type of pitcher, however, that nothing really bothers him. Just give me the ball, I'll throw it. And he certainly does. And a throw down to first base, but Jaden Lamont gets back easy. But Stem in a hole now, 1-2 against Wilkinson.
And I like how Sully the Gulls even trying to put on his little distractions in behind home plate, sitting there a few rows up directly behind and waving at the pitcher he's about to throw.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
The crowd getting behind Sam Stem, hoping for a base hit here to bring in another run or two. And he stays away from that, tempting as it was. And Wilkinson thought maybe he had another strikeout here.
Yeah, that was close.
Caleb Lombard held it there for a good 2 seconds there just to give Jeff Chipley a good look at it to say, hey, what do you think? And he thought ball. And that one a little more on the plate this time, and a called third strike there. And Sam Stem will walk back to the bench, not bringing a runner in. He's a little disappointed in himself.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just been the theme of the night, Jim, was runners on base being stranded there and not going anywhere after that. So the Gulls quickly got bases loaded with 3 straight singles in the 9th inning. And then after that, 2 straight strikeouts and just a median on the mound to say, let's get the job done for the Okotoks Dawgs. But Matthew Karata, this is a guy that's, he's 50% at the plate right now, and this could go either way. He could be the big hero. He could be things to keep. He could be a guy to inch the lead, or inch closer to the lead, I should say.
Well, we'll see what happens. Gulls are down to their last out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Down 4-1 against Okotoks. 2 down, bases loaded, facing a tough pitcher in Matt Wilkinson. And Karata swings out the first pitch. This has got enough to get out of play. No, it just about stayed in play and was caught by first baseman Noah Geeky.
He dropped it actually. He went off the mesh and landed. He landed on the turf there. So Matthew Karata will stay alive here.
Now, what if it hits the mesh first?
That's called out.
That's a foul.
Yeah, that's called
That's foul ball.
Yeah.
So it was pretty close to hitting the mesh. I thought it did, but it could have been Noah Geeky's arm hitting the mesh. So 0-1 the count on Matthew Karata. That misses high for a ball. Well, if you haven't been to a Gulls game, this is kind of how they do it. They make it very, very interesting throughout the game. And they're down to their last ad out. And a big sweeping curve there that misses outside for ball 2. Corrada would probably accept a walk right now.
Oh, yeah.
A wild pitch. A base hit. Might score 2 because the runners are probably going on any hit. So he'll get a good jump. And Corrada hanging in tough against Wilkinson. Fouls that out of play. The count even at 2-2, 2 down. 3-run deficit. The Gulls trying to make up here. Corrada does not have to do this with one swing of the bat, as he has Ben Prediger on deck. He lifts this out into center field, but that is not deep enough, as Micah McDowell will slide over to his left and make the catch. And the Gulls fall short on their rally. They had a chance, the first 3 batters getting on base here in the bottom of the 9th inning, but as was the case throughout the afternoon, the Gulls leave 3 men stranded. So 3 base hits, no runs, 3 men left on base. The final score here at Gulls Field at Pagato Park, 4-1 in favor of the Okotoks Dawgs.
Yeah, Sylvan Lake Gulls, unfortunately for them, just too many players left stranded on base, and that was enough to, give the Dawgs a edge over the Gulls in scoring. And this is, we'll head down to field level. Their snap finish player of the game, Mike Polson.
Go your way. How did you see that game?
I thought we hit well. Our defense kind of didn't show up today, but that's all right. We've been known to play good defense, and it didn't come out today, but a lot of positives and a lot of things to work on from this game.
Definitely. So you guys are off to Edmonton tomorrow. So how do you guys get over this loss quick and get ready for the next game?
Just got to forget about it. I know it sucks. It hurts. Just got to kind of move on. It's nice that we play again tomorrow. We can kind of just go get away from this.
Definitely. Well, thanks, Mike. And thank you, Gulls fans, for coming out. Have a beautiful evening.
Well, there he is, Michael Polson, snap fitness player of the game. He went 2 for 4 on the night, and also drove in a run with a base on balls because the bases were loaded. So that was the only run that was scored for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. 4-1 Dawgs lead yet again, now 1-8 against this Okotoks Dawgs team. Something about them, they're just a solid team defensively, and they just know how to swing the bats as well.
Well, here's some numbers for you. 15, 5, and 10. 15 men left on base, 5 errors by the Gulls, and 10 hits. So you think that, without looking at the errors, you think, oh, okay. You left an awful lot of stuff out there. So, but that's a good baseball team across the diamond, and that's what happens. Good teams make things happen on their grounds. So
yeah, it sure is. And Sylvan Lake will have to bounce back. They head to Edmonton tomorrow night before then returning here at home on Tuesday night to take on the Fort McMurray Giants. So it was a pleasure, and we hope you enjoyed the game as much as we did right here on Home Team Live. We'll have the call here on Tuesday night against Fort Mac. But in the meantime, for Jim Claggett, myself, Cale Clark, and the whole broadcast crew at hnlive.ca, it's been a pleasure with another bird's eye view on this one. Have a good night.